Your hot dog.
What?
It's your hot dog.
Get your hot dogs here.
It's your hot
God,
dog.
dude,
Lizzie.
I also hear you're a dragon slayer. Or is that
That's
just
what
the
they call
nickname?
me. That's what the ladies call me.
like I don't rage at people. I get very passive aggressive. So there was a lot of like, oh, that's fantastic.
I'm an immature child.
Did the day end well done?
It did. We went to go get ice cream at like this little pizza place.
Instead of sending bombs and missiles to Ukraine, we are sending Teslas because they are better improved explosive devices.
I feel really weird about owning a Tesla right now. Sentient robots taking over the world. You know, people have seen my videos. Like, it's just strange.
This is Bucket Bytes.
This is Bucket Bytes.
This is Bucket Bytes.
This is Bucket Bytes.
This is
This is
Bucket Bytes.
You're darn tootin', ladies and gentlemen. This is Bucket Bytes, and welcome. This is the show with bite-sized discussions and games that come out of a proverbial bucket. We don't limit ourselves to any theme or subject, so you can only imagine the menagerie of topics that might come up. While we often have guests on the show, today it's just us again. So get ready for some friendly banter and a bunch of laughs. Who knows what we're going to pull out of the bite bucket today? Last week I said the bucket bite like a freaking idiot. And that idiot, my name is Ryan, aka Pop-Up Host. And today I'm honored to be surrounded by the likes of Andre Reyes, Josh Picard, and Dominic. Just
Hi.
Dominic.
Just me.
And I guess the first question I want to kind of start off with is, how crispy do you guys like your bacon?
Ooh, I like crispy ass bacon, so I can like put it in other things.
Like
Like I
crispy,
like putting
like
bacon in like salad.
okay. So it's got to be like rock hard.
Gotta
It
be
just crumbles. You
gotta be
touch it and it just
crisp,
turns
you
into
know?
dust.
Yeah, it's got taste like pure grease, just crisp.
Okay. What about you, Reyes?
I like that thick cut bacon, and it has to be cooked to a nice crispy. But I like that flexibility. I don't want to just grab it and have it just crumble in my hand.
You like your you
So I like that bacon cooked good, but that thick cut.
okay? You like a limp bacon, where Dominic likes a stiff bacon. Okay, Josh.
See, I was gonna say, I love a crispy, thin bacon, but if it's thick cut, then I need it a little bit chewy. But if it's like thin, then I need it to be that like crispy flake.
Mhm.
It'll break off the
Right.
moment you give it any kind of pressure. But yeah, there's a difference. It depends on what kind of bacon we're talking about.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. So I know, like it's the worst when you have bacon that's on the thinner side. You put it in your mouth, and all you get is like a melting sensation of oil, and it crumbles. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had bacon that's
Oh.
been cooked like that?
Oh, that's too
that's
much. Yeah.
that's when it's way overcooked. I'm kind of more on that like side with Reyes, where it's got to have that flop. It's got to be thick, because I love a thick bacon,
You
dude.
like 'em thick.
I love them thick. I will not buy thin. I will not buy thin bacon. It's got to be the thick stuff. It's got to be juicy.
Spread your truth, bro. Spread
Hey,
your
man.
truth.
Yeah. Well, so the reason I bring it up is because at the end of the last week's episode, I kind of in passing mentioned I was going to Bacon Fest this last weekend. And have you guys ever been to anything like a Bacon Fest?
Shit, I ain't
No,
even heard of that before.
Yeah, describe what it is, because I've never been.
Yeah, this is
So-
something brand new.
Well, so especially like here in Milwaukee, we have festivals like this all the time. You know, whether it's like Greek Fest, like it's the different cultures and things like that. But this is bacon, right? So basically, we went to Potawatomi. It's the casino down here, into one of their convention halls, and they had probably like 20 or 30 different vendors there, which all had something to do with bacon. So you could have just things as simple as bacon, like sandwiches with bacon on it, to there was bacon cupcakes.
Oh, those. Are
And
did you have one?
I did. Okay, I did not, because so here I was invited to this thing like right at the height of my like I'm dieting, whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah,
lose
yeah.
weight, and as my dad's like, hey, like let's get some VIP. Oh, by the way, we got VIP tickets to this too. Oh yeah, so we got in like early and everything, but there was like bacon infused whiskey, bourbon, you name it. There was freaking chocolate chip cookie bacon cookies,
Oh.
chocolate chip bacon cookies.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of bacon. I was very full, and it was just a hell of a good time. I was able to meet Bob and Brian, local radio hosts for the rock station down here. So yeah, it was a pretty good time. Saw some people there that I wasn't expecting to see, but I just figured I'd share that I had a lot of fun with a lot of bacon. Took a picture of my dad. It was nice. I haven't had a picture with him in many years. So, but the weird, like
I
the
saw that
weirdest-
picture. It was a
Yeah,
good
did you?
picture.
Yeah. I had it was meant to be kind of, it's not inherently funny, but like I knew it would kind of like, be like an elbow into the ribs to him. But I had, he had a sign that said, "I like them crispy." Just, you get those little signs for pictures. And mine was, "This girl loves bacon," and it was pointing at my dad. Not inherently funny, but I knew that he would kind of be like, "Oh, I'm going to get you back for that." So it's, not to get depressing about it, but it made me realize how like little time I spend with my parents. It's kind of weird. Like just seeing how like my parents are getting older, so like they're starting to kind of like deteriorate a little bit. So that was kind of rough. But anyways, I mean, but it was bacon and it was a good time, and we all had good ass time having bacon, man. So,
I mean, at least you can go out. You can go out with your dad to, spend some time with him, and have a fun event, eat a little bit of bacon, and just have that time.
yeah,
And so not
So
everybody's able to have that time. So it's precious whenever
yeah,
you do get that time with a significant other or a loved one, just to take advantage of it. Because
right.
as you know, work and other responsibilities and accountabilities, they'll always be there and they'll always accumulate more and more and more.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that makes it even more paramount and important and really precious to really take that time that you can to really enjoy it, because
hmm
it's not always going to be there.
The Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon post.
That's a
so
saying that I've heard, but I
Well, it's the
no idea what it
song.
means.
It's
Oh, it's a song?
it's the song. It's about the guy. His son is growing up, and they're
yeah.
he's too busy working, and then the son ends
You-
up too busy working to spend time with the dad. You've never heard this song? It's
I'm
like
an
the
uncultured
quintessential.
swine.
Jesus.
I'm
Uh,
I'm gonna have to look it up now
I
because I am
wasn't
an
following
uncultured
either
swine.
until you were describing it. So
Nobody's
Hey,
ever heard
Dom.
the Cat's in the
Hey,
Cradle
Dom.
and the Silver Spoon.
What's up?
Tom, what's the song? Can you sing
yeah,
it?
you're on your own there.
What song? Sing what song?
Josh, you're surrounded by a bunch of uncultured swine.
This is like one of the most famous songs ever. It makes every grown man cry because it's about
Well, I don't want to
a
cry.
father and his
Well,
son. It's a super famous song.
Obviously, not every grown man, because a lot of these
Well,
grown men don't know.
You'd know it if you heard it.
I was
That's all
gonna
I'm
say
gonna say.
it's probably
don't know,
one of those
maybe,
where you've
yeah.
heard it before. You just didn't
you've
realize
you've
it.
certainly heard it.
Something
So,
about my
the
dad
post.
and he's silver spoon. Oh, what?
So post. I love food. I adore food. I like trying new foods and shit. So what was
Me
the
too.
weirdest shit there?
Oh man, there was some really weird, and frankly, it was quite gross. It was like a bacon infused like it's something with cabbage and like ginger with bacon, and it was just the most
Oh.
obnoxiously gross
Like
combination that I've ever had in my life.
was it like a bacon
Oh
kimchi?
no, the worst thing was the bacon whiskey Jello shots.
Oh,
Oh.
bacon
Did you have
whiskey
the normal
Jello
bacon
shot.
whiskey?
Yes, I did.
And was that good?
Yeah, that was all right. I mean, it wasn't amazing,
But putting it in a Jello shot.
it was a
made it-
completely different. It was a completely different vendor.
Oh,
What's
but
a,
no,
what's a Jello shot?
Dom, your innocence just breaks my heart.
You really, we just stare at you, and
What do you think?
you're
Hold on.
growing up so fast, but you're
What do
not
you?
quite there.
I want to know. What do you think a Jello
What
shot
I
is?
think.
Yeah, what do you think a Jello shot is?
So I'm thinking of like Jello in a shot glass, and then you just lift it up and eat the Jello.
He's
I mean,
not wrong.
He's not wrong.
not.
He's not wrong, but he doesn't have all the
Well,
details.
You're
Well,
missing
the whole
one
counts.
vital ingredient.
I mean, just missing the alcohol, buddy. That's it.
If
You're
it
right there, though.
begins with an L, maybe ends with an icker. Who knows?
Yeah,
I was trying to find a
usually
smart-ass
the
guy.
Jello's made with vodka, and yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was. That's what I'd imagine it was. And
So
it was like, was there like
yeah.
pieces of bacon in it?
Yes. So actually, it's really funny. Bless my dad's soul. We're going through these things. We don't know what anything is. We grab this chocolate covered pretzel with like bacon in the chocolate, and
So good. Sounds so
it-
good.
I skipped that because I was trying to avoid the sugar, but I saw my dad. Bless his heart. He took the pretzel and started dipping it into the Jello shot, thinking it was a sauce. I was like, no, stop! You're embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Just for context, how old is your dad?
Oh, dude, he was born in what, 58, 62.
So okay, so
he's
in his 60s.
He's an old timer, but he doesn't have, otherwise mentally he's all there. So
Right, yeah,
he's
but
not
still,
that old.
just
And your
yeah.
math might be off just a little bit if you were born in 58. But who's counting? Who knows mathematics, right?
58.
So yeah, that would
go ahead,
be-
Dom.
So speaking of like bacon, I had this funnel cake, right? This funnel cake recently, and it was maple bacon, and it tasted like pancakes and syrup. It was delicious.
Have you ever
It
had
was-
funnel cakes before?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Is it just?
what's up?
I feel like funnel cakes always taste like pancakes.
I don't think so.
No.
It
No.
reminds me more of a churro.
I would agree with that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I suppose.
it's more like a churro
Yeah.
to me, and very sugary and very fried in one.
Sure.
But
I will
yeah, it
say
had,
this
like-
though too, on that, because funnel cakes are delicious, and Milwaukee's really big into those, especially at their festivals.
Mhm.
And so it's interesting because you'll see people traveling from all over the country, sometimes different countries, to come, to like Summerfest
People
or,
don't
or
come
something
to
like
Wisconsin just for funnel cakes, though.
No, it's
But
what's
no,
the thing?
but-
What's the
that.
thing?
But what's funny about that is one time when I was at Summerfest, these couple was up there, and they were speaking totally different language, obviously traveling and exploring, and they said they had came to the States, and they're traveling around, and they came to Summerfest, and they were like, we're so excited to try this dessert of yours. And I think they were like from Australia. And
You can't
and
tell
I'm
me
like,
Australia doesn't. Wait, hold on.
No,
No, stop.
No,
There used to be
no,
English
no,
in
I'm
Australia.
serious.
Yeah, I'm stopping. I'm stopping.
No,
was it
I'm
was it
serious.
funnel cake or what's the big thing that State Fair has? It's not funnel
Yeah,
cake.
is it funnel cake? I thought it was
No, it's what's the big thing that State Fair
was the
has?
thing that's like a circle, right? And it's like a churro, but it's like a circle. It has powdered sugar all over it.
I mean,
Well, that's a
the
funnel cake, yeah, but
Cake.
what's
That's the
what's
funnel
the thing
cake.
that State Fair has? It's not funnel cake. It's like fuck. What is like the big thing that everybody comes like from around the state to get? And like even during COVID, they had like a drive-through to pick it up. It wasn't
really?
funnel
cream
cake.
cream puffs.
Cream puffs.
Cream
Was it
puffs.
cream puffs?
Yeah,
It had to.
you're right.
Yeah, it had to have been the cream
Yep,
puffs.
you're right. It was the
Yep.
cream puffs. I was wrong, and so it was the cream puffs.
Yes.
Two
I've
different
never had a
two
cream
different
puff.
things.
Yes.
What?
Dude, I'm gonna spend
Everyone
$200.
So
gonna-
but it's surprising to me though, kind of like when you go to different places and what people are excited about. What's normal for people in that area is absolutely something brand new for others.
Yep.
And I love that because even in not only different countries and different states and different counties, it's kind of an entirely completely different culture that you can go into and try brand new things and see
Sure.
brand new things. So
Well,
I love
The
that.
I have an image in my head now of like an Australian couple like looking at cream puffs and be like, "Crikey, mate, this shit's great." Just looking at it like that.
That was actually,
because everybody from Australia talks like Crocodile Dundee.
yeah, yeah. So but I will say this about Post and his dad. His dad
I'm scared.
likes
Whatever you're gonna say, I'm
no, wait.
scared. Whatever you're
His
about to
dad,
say.
I remember his dad gets like beers from like all over. He has like a
Oh yeah,
subscription to get beers from like all over the world, right? So he'll come up with some weird beer you have never seen or heard of before, and and tell you, yeah, hey, this beer is from guess where? And I'm like, I have no clue where.
he does that to
And
me too. He does that to me all the
I
time,
have
and I'm
no
like, I
clue
don't fucking
where.
know.
I just want to know. And,
Yeah,
and some things he's like, oh, Germany. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. They should know their beers. But then he'll say like a random country, and
sure.
I'm like, I don't think I want to try their.
One final point on what you're saying, Reyes, is, and then my dad will proceed to tell you that, oh, you're drinking a $80 can of beer, and the can is like 12 ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and I'm like, here I am, like, drinking it. And I'm like, oh, I should be like savoring this.
I've done that with my
Exactly.
friends. Like they're like, here's a glass of bourbon, and I'll just like drink it in like 2 sips. And they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that was like a $200 bottle of bourbon. I'm like, should have told me. I would have
right,
like,
I would have savored the flavor.
like I'm just here to get drunk. I don't know.
But there is one thing I regret. I absolutely regret that Post Dad showed him, a drink, and Post made sure
It's a drink. Okay, he said drink.
when I came. When I came to visit, he made sure to take me out to a bar to give me a shot of this specific
Oh, I know what you're
liqueur,
gonna say.
and it was
Is it from Chicago or in Illinois?
atrocious.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, and
Oh.
it was like
Josh
hairspray was
knows.
sprayed in my mouth. I was
Mhm.
coughing. I was like, how
Yeah.
can anybody
Well, it's
I don't know if I
it's a
know.
bitter liqueur. It's a bitter liqueur. It's a bitter liqueur, and
it was horrible.
That word sounds
Absolutely.
so fancy.
it's so what he's referring to. It's called
Is
Malort.
Malort.
Oh, Malort. I've heard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard.
So, a fun game, by the way, if you've never done it, is to have going back to Jello shots. Have a bunch of good Jello shots, and then have a couple of them that are made with Malort. You'll make a lot of friends. Actually, now that I think of it, those
You
Jello
lose
shots,
a lot of friends.
those Jello shots were probably made with fucking Malort. That's how fucking bad it was. It was so bad. If I could like explain the taste of Malort to you guys, it's like if someone was to like step on olives in a vat of vodka. That's what Malort tastes like. It
We
tastes
have
like
We have a Chicago native in the chat who says Malort is undrinkable. It's windshield cleaner.
I mean,
It is. It's pretty
for
bad.
you, for our viewers right now, just look up Malort and just look at the videos of people trying it. That's just you'll understand. And
There's
this
a
is from
pretty-
across the world. These
So
are
what's
people
the
across
what's
the
the
world and the
market? I
US.
wonder. Like, is it just like how do they keep bottling and selling this? Is it
It's
just
gotta be
for
like-
people to fuck each other over?
It's gotta be for
I
like
think so.
mixing, right?
Yeah. Do you mix Malort with anything? For
You
a drink?
can. So I know
be.
that there's drinks with it that. So basically, it's a bittering agent to a drink, right? So I'm not saying you could replace bitters in a drink with it, but there are like cocktails with Malort in it. I've never had one that I liked, but yeah, I just know that it's meant for adding a bitter element to some mixed cocktails as well.
Yeah, because to that point, like bitters, like you can't drink bitters alone. Like that would be a nightmare.
I tell you what,
So-
if you ever watched me make an old fashioned, you'd think I drink bitters straight up. I love it. I love bitters.
fair enough.
But anyways, Dom. So before we got like way off track with cream puffs, elephant ears, and funnel cakes, you were talking about maple something funnel cakes.
Oh yeah, I think I finished what I wanted to say about it.
All right, then we're
I'm
moving on.
surprised I didn't have it.
Moving
there.
on. So
Moving
Okay,
on.
so you know how we were talking about my dad a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is when your significant other calls you daddy, if they do, is that or if you heard someone else call someone daddy, would you find that like derogatory, or is that kind of like sexy?
It depends to me in what context. Like if it's your significant other and you know, and it depends on what they're comfortable with. Some people find that as oh, that's a turn on. Some people are like, please don't ever say that to me again.
So
it really depends on the person, right? And so it's one of those things.
It's funny because the other day you posted this for us to talk about a couple weeks ago actually, and the other day I was driving home from work. Actually, Josh, it was the day where I was coming to give you some stuff a couple days ago, and my wife calls me. She's like, clearly she's with my son in the room. And she calls me daddy when the kids are around, right? But she said it. She's like, "Hey, daddy, what's for dinner tonight?" And I was just like, "Say that again."
Exactly. It depends on the context, right? And,
right.
Like me with my fiance, you know, I'll be like, "Hey," and she's like, "What?" Like literally straight up, "What?"
Oh, so she
And
doesn't
I'm
call you
like,
daddy?
and I'm like, "You're a bad girl. Daddy's gonna come over there and spank you."
Oh my god.
And she looks at me and she's like, "No, you're not, and you're not daddy." Okay.
That's how I'd respond too. For in her defense, that's how I would respond too.
I don't even call my dad's daddy. Never have, never will. You're not gonna take that role either. And I'm
I
like,
so badly
okay.
wanted to make a joke.
and so but I still try to get her to say it because it's a fun little back and forth now with us.
So Dom, has
Uh-oh.
your girlfriend ever called you daddy?
No, she hasn't. But if she did, I wouldn't mind.
See?
Oh,
Okay, what
Hope
about
she
Aziza?
listens?
are
Hope
you
she
ready for that
listens
next
to the
step
show.
then? Are you ready for that next step then? To be an actual daddy?
No,
A lot
no,
more
he's
years
not. To
from
answer
now.
that question,
A lot more
he's
years.
don't have children.
No.
Oh, don't you have 2 kids?
Yeah, and I love them with all my heart. But Josh, so what if Aziza slipped in a little? Ooh, dad.
She never.
Together.
We're not like. I feel like daddy's a young man's game. I don't. I think that's a generation past me.
Sure.
Like, cause it seems like such a, cause you see it like in TikTok generation. Like it's such a common thing now of girls calling guy daddy. Like that was not a thing in my day, and I'm not even that old. I don't think, but I am. But like so I'm not like I hear that I'm just like that's. I don't know. Like
I
it
mean,
just. I'm not your
I
father.
mean,
That's strange.
I mean, Josh, it may be just an evolution, kind of like if you think about it, if you think about how generations before us, so the parents were sometimes called, and they called each other this mom, pa. Hey,
Sure.
hey, ma, can you come over?
Well,
Hey,
I mean,
pa,
even
come
in
over here.
even in like
And
the
it's like,
'70s, mama was a big thing for like calling your woman. Like even if she wasn't a mother, you'd call her mama. Or,
Josh,
exactly.
when you say
And
Josh, when you say mama, I think of Queen and Freddie Mercury just going.
yeah. That is a perfect example. Or like
hit
Robert
that high note again.
Yeah, please do.
No.
Hit the falsetto, bro. Or like Robert Plant in like Led Zeppelin songs when he'd always be like,
Oh God.
So
The
It's
mic didn't
just
want to hear that.
Yeah.
to me, it's just an evolution of a lot of terminology,
Yeah, for
and you
sure.
see and you'll see the generational differences. Like something I brought up the other day, not only daddy, but another word. I was like, when did this become a thing? Vibing. That's a vibe.
Oh.
Is it? And so I was like, I didn't know when this became a thing. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's a vibe, and I was like, what's a
I
vibrator?
got
What?
another one.
What?
I got another one. And Dom, don't say it because Dom knows. I know Dom knows this. But Post and Reyes, what does if I said that you got Riz, what would that mean?
What the? Are you trying to insult me or something? We'll take this outside. You want to fight?
I just heard this. I just heard this. Again, I'm an old man.
I was like,
so
I've never heard
so-
of this.
I just heard
Do you
this.
Post,
I
do you
don't-
have Riz?
Post, do you have Riz?
So I don't know what that means. If I had to take a guess, I'm assuming
guess.
it's some kind of like play on swag or swagger, maybe.
Oh God, who said that?
Well, he's close-ish. He's close-ish. Go ahead, Dom. Explain what Riz is.
What is Riz?
So Riz is a abbreviation of charisma.
Oh.
When
I've heard that before, actually.
when did
I'm
this
stupid.
come out? Like instead of charismatic, you're very
it-
charismatic. You know, you have a lot of charisma.
I think
That
it
sounds
came from hip-hop.
eloquent. That sounds
Let Dominic
eloquent,
tell us.
eloquent, intellectual.
got
All of a
Riz,
sudden,
bro.
you got a lot of Riz.
You got Riz, bro. Go ahead.
Like-
Go ahead, Dom.
I think it came from like hip hop trends and stuff. Like modern rap has a lot of that stuff, and that's where a lot of new phrases come from. is
Okay.
from modern rap.
Yeah, that's
Got
not
it.
my
Dumbing down our
wheelhouse.
populace. 1 year at a time. Got it.
Well, is it? Well, does average? But does I don't know if that's fair to say. You know, it's
just
just pop
slang,
culture.
you
Just
know?
it's right. So like, you know, that's bad, right? But that means that's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's things pop up in slang terminology all the time. You know, it's never gonna stop. You know, it happened to our
True.
parents where we started saying shit they didn't understand. And they're like, that's fucking
Mhm.
stupid.
Yeah.
All this
like
heavy
swag.
Yeah, it's well.
I remember when
Yeah.
Squad came out. Like
Squad,
Are you gonna like Squad came out, and I was in the
Oh.
army, and I was coming home on leave, and people are, I'm gonna hang with the squad. I'm like, what squad? What unit? You know? And I was like, you're not in the military. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and I didn't even realize what it meant. You know, that they're gonna hang with. Means totally different things in my ears.
That was a word when I was probably in like diapers.
Bro, yo, Dom, there's actually another one, and I think someone said it in when I was streaming one time, and I had to ask you, and you had to explain it to me before, Dom. That's how like old and like gross I am. Someone said, "Ooh, that's nice cake," and I had no clue what cake was. Josh, do you don't know what cake is?
No, I know what cake is.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
okay,
disappointed
you're just
that you
disappointed
didn't
that
know
I
what
didn't?
cake is. Yeah, you're like your
Dude,
dad.
yeah.
You just don't like cake.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not that I don't like cake. I like cake. I just didn't know what it was.
It's just the moment he got married that was off the.
Hey,
table.
Riz, what's cake?
Hmm?
I'm
Cake?
putting you on the spot, bro.
Okay,
'cause you were just
so-
about to
so
shit on
cake-
me, bro.
I am because cake to me, and this is what I take cake to be. That's some nice cake is a girl's booty. That's
Okay.
a nice booty. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
some nice
okay.
cake.
There you go.
It's a
Doesn't have to
woman's
be a
booty.
girl. Doesn't
It
have
could
to
be
be a
anybody.
girl.
You
Yeah.
better stop with your bullshit.
No. Cake's just a nice booty. All right, we don't discriminate
Okay,
here on
it's a
Bucket
nice
Bites.
booty, and so the moment Poster Boy got married, you know, that kind of fell off the table.
Well, yeah, that was a long time ago. By the way, it's over 10 years already. It's been a long
Damn.
time. Yeah.
You know,
Anyways.
you are a trooper. You are an inspiration for all of us, you know, who are about to make
That's-
that plunge.
You
I was
have
9 years
false
old.
We
heroes.
salute you.
False
You,
heroes.
Dom.
Wait, what did Dom say?
I was 9 years old.
Bro, thanks.
Down there.
By the way,
like, hey, you old fucking fossils.
funny story is Post made me drink at his wedding. I didn't drink at the time, and boy, how things changed. Bottoms up.
Oh.
Don't
As
spill
he's
it all
As
over
I
yourself. You spilled it all over yourself, man.
Couldn't have gone any better.
That was perfect. So
I love this
Um,
show.
And
But-
I believe, Josh, that there's a comment for you too that you're all caked up.
Oh, I certainly am, according to Cross Cottonwood in the chat.
caked up, bricked up. I mean, these are all, and it's not the same. Anyways, moving on. We were talking about daddy. You know who's embraced the daddy culture? It's your boy Pedro Pascal.
Oh,
Oh,
certainly I saw
what?
this.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's a man who's embraced daddy culture. He's
Took that
very
shit
much
in
happy to
perfectly.
be your daddy. So
And many people are happy to have him as their daddy.
Dude, what is that movie?
What?
I keep seeing clips on TikTok. There's a movie with
Get off
Pedro
TikTok.
Pascal.
That's your first problem.
Is it with Nicolas Cage?
Yes, with Nicolas Cage. Dom knows what I'm talking about. What's the movie?
Oh, the
movie's called,
irrefutable.
The talent. Yeah,
the
it's
something
called-
weight
I
of
think it's like-
talent.
Yeah,
All I know
Unbearable
is
Weight of
from
Talent.
the
That's
unbearable
it.
weight of talent.
That's it.
Because
movie was
Nicolas
funny.
Cage, he has to do all of his. I haven't seen it, but I watched the trailer. So basically, he has to utilize all of his old roles to try to help. I think the FBI was capturing this drug lord, which Pedro Pascal plays.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he's a
And,
fan of
Ooh.
Nicolas Cage, so Nicolas
and he's
Cage
a
plays
fan of Nicolas
himself.
Cage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the FBI contacts him, but slowly
Okay.
it goes on that whatever. It's a funny
Okay.
movie. It's great.
Is it out?
It's been out.
Oh shit! I gotta watch that. I was very excited for it when I heard of
I
it.
haven't seen it.
I
I
don't
watched the
think
trailer.
it's in theaters anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah,
No,
streaming.
yeah.
Who
Yeah,
who
not-
goes to theaters?
Oh, I
It's
do.
2023.
Yeah, it's not. It's streaming now, so
Okay.
I'll definitely check it out. I was excited about that when I first heard about it.
It's so fun.
It
It's
looks
such a fun
pretty
movie.
good. I was like, I want to see this. Why have I never heard of this movie before?
It's
It-
like
it
the
makes it s-
perfect amount of Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal. It's like it's so goofy.
to me, it's so interesting because I saw the trailer of that, and then I watched The Last of Us, and I'm like
Polar
comparing
opposites.
Pedro
Dichotomy,
Pascal in the trailer to this, and I'm like,
By the way, can we take the rounds real quick? Favorite Nick Cage movie?
ooh,
Sure,
Uh-huh.
that's fine.
Con Air.
Con Air's good. That's good.
Oh, you're gonna go last.
Now
this
that's
last?
back in the day.
Yeah, I'll
Dom,
go
okay?
last.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that Con Air may have come out, and you were still possibly, wiggling towards the egg. It may have happened.
May
But
have been
Con
in
Air.
process.
So, I'm pretty sure I've always really liked National Treasure, but but that's like a series. I also really liked like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, that's a great one. Didn't
Okay.
even think of
So
that.
if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with the National Treasure movies just because I don't know, they're kind of fun. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Dom.
All right. Well, all right. I'm sorry, guys. I've only seen one Nick Cage movie fully, and it was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I've only seen like little bits and pieces of how ridiculous his acting is, and it's great. So I love
Really?
him from like clips I've seen. Yeah,
Okay.
but I've never
We gotta
watched
educate
another
you, boy.
Nick Cage movie just fully.
That's okay. It came up at work the other day. I've never, a third of our office also hasn't, but I've never seen Fight Club.
What? So
What?
hold on. So I have a recommendation
Sure.
because I was the same way up until 2 years ago.
Really?
My recommendation is read the book first.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, because the book is at least 10 times better than the
Okay.
movie, but the movie is really, really good.
Did we just start the Bucket Bites game or book
The
club?
movie
No,
and
the
book
movie,
club,
the movie.
apparently.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a club for everything. We got game
Yeah.
club, book club, movie club.
Book club.
So no, that's good advice. I'll take you up on it.
The book is a quick read. I read it on 2 flights, so
Okay.
it's not a long endeavor. But I
Okay.
recommend the
It's
book
light.
first.
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
I think it's make soap or something. I don't know.
I like soup. So what's your favorite Nick Cage movie, Josh?
So if I could go for 2, one is a serious one, and that's Wild at Heart, the David Lynch film. Nick Cage is really good in that movie. But also, so that's if I had to do a serious one. My actual favorite Nick Cage movie is Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, which is a
Never
movie
seen it.
not many people have seen, but he plays like a dirty cop who's always on drugs. So like the entire film, he's like solving like a crime, but he hallucinates iguanas, and it has my favorite scene in a movie ever. He's like, "What's that iguana doing on that table?" And his partner's like, "What iguana?" And then there's like 2 minutes of just a shot of this iguana and Nick Cage staring at the iguana, and it's amazing.
Dude, That
Speaking of Nick
sounds
Cage,
great.
didn't he play Ghost Rider?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He
Are
certainly
those
did.
movies
Yep,
good,
he
or are they
did.
like?
No.
Are they kind of? They're not good.
They're
Yeah.
they're
I
they're
like
mid.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they're
The first one's okay. The second
Yeah, I
one
was
is
about to say the first one is watchable. The second one's kind of rough.
yeah.
But this is like edgy Nick Cage. Is that
I
what
mean,
it is?
what Nick Cage movie isn't edgy?
It's not even edgy though. Like it was when Marvel was still trying to figure it out. Like that was
Oh,
post
okay.
Spider-Man 1, but
Sure.
you know,
the thing, one of the things I'll always remember, and this is from the Con Air movie, is he's in the plane and he goes to the back of the plane and another con is in there and he's gone through Nick Cage's stuff and he starts reading the letter from his daughter. My dad is coming, realizing that, Nick Cage was actually a free man and he decided to stay there to try to sabotage the cons, and and the con has the bunny he had gotten for his daughter, and he's like, and he says, "Give me the bunny," but just the way he said it though, "Give me the bunny," and he's like, "Or what?" And he and he says, and he's like, "I'm only gonna ask you it again. Give me the bunny,"
Cross
and then
Cross
and then
Cottonwood in the chat says, "Put the bunny in the box."
Yep, put and then afterward, after he kills him, he looks at him and
Spoilers.
he looks at him and he's like, "Why couldn't you just give me the bunny?" That just makes me so happy.
By the way, just a honorable mention to Face Off. If you guys have never seen Face Off, that is
Yeah,
Nick Cage at his
with John
absolute
Travolta.
best. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Face Off with
as
John Travolta.
Castor, I forget his last name, but it's like his first name is Castor in that movie, and he is
Why
just
haven't I
over
seen
the top. Like
Castor
he's
Troy.
yes, he's a horrible person. Like, and he's
Mhm.
just over the top crazy, and that is so amazing. There's a scene where he's like, "I could eat a peach for hours," and anytime a peach comes up in conversation, I will go, "I could eat a peach for hours."
I have a feeling I'm going on a fucking Nick Cage movie watching spree because I have not seen
Oh,
a lot
is
of
that where the
these.
golden guns come from?
Where what?
The golden guns? Did he have a gold pistol in that movie?
I think you're thinking of Goldeneye with James Bond.
No, like I was talking about the
This is
James
also a
Bond
man
movie.
who mixed up Skittles and Snickers, so
Fair
or whatever
enough.
it
No,
was.
I don't remember a golden pistol in that movie, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Aziza and I went through a just a spree where we watched a bunch of Nick Cage movies, and I recommend it.
That's great. That's great. So, out of curiosity, you guys, I know maybe Reyes you have, but have you guys ever been in a long distance relationship before?
Yes.
Yeah?
No, not really.
No? Josh, no? So,
I mean, before I drove, everything was a long distance relationship, but that's about it.
well, okay, Reyes, so you were in one before. How did you like you couldn't see each other all the time. How would you kind of like keep things fresh and felt like you guys were still together and close and everything?
Well, constant communication. That's
Mm.
pretty much key, and it's true whether you're close or you're far. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to have trust, and you have to communicate every single day. There's not been one day where we haven't had that ever since we started dating to now, where we're about to be getting married.
Okay.
and
Well,
uh and so that was a real big thing, and to keep it interesting, I had to find different ways. It was, like kind of finding out, like, oh, can we do some like video chat or can we watch a movie on the computer together where she
sure.
is and
Yeah.
where I am, and we can see each other while watching and make comments and have fun, or
Right.
and sometimes I would
So,
just fly there and surprise her.
yeah, well, not everyone can do that. Not everyone can afford flights to just go fly someone out.
It was during COVID. It was cheap. Everybody could afford
Oh,
it.
smart man.
So, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. Well, what if you had the ability? You know how you'd send each other text messages, naked pictures of yourselves, things like that. What if you could send them a physical kiss?
All right, that'd be kind of weird. Is my phone
Did
gonna
you
be
say
kissing me?
physical?
Yes, like an actual kiss.
I
That so let
a
me get to the
disturbing
point.
image. Oh, sorry.
Let me get to
Okay.
the point.
Okay.
You're fine, Dom. There's a company, a Chinese company, that has made a kissing device with real life silicone lips. Um, so basically, you put your phone into this device, and you can send a kiss, and then the other person can be on the other side and receive your kiss. Number one, it looks like the orifice part of the lips looks like a fucking fleshlight. Number one. And number two, um, it's creepy, right? Like, isn't that like kind of
Mm,
really
It,
fucking creepy?
but and at the same time, though, when you think about kissing, you know, the lips are different, the sensation's different, how
Yeah.
you kiss them is different, it's a totally different experience than just putting your
Sure.
face on some sort of silicon thing and kissing it and having it kiss back. It's not the same to me. To me that would just be that would take away from the entire experience. I would want that experience with them themselves. And I understand there could be a caveat on that, like, hey, a lot of people's love language may be sensation, may be touch, and so even them getting that from that silicon device maybe something to really help them in that relationship and to
Right.
feel that. But at the same time, it's never gonna replace it. To me, it would just
Sure.
feel weird and
Well,
awkward for me.
do you guys? I don't know if you guys have the stream up. I've actually got like a quick little 9-second video that I could pull up for you guys if you want to pull up the stream real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna show you what this thing looks like, and it's like really freaking creepy, dude. So it should come up here in a second.
This is a reminder for everybody listening that we have a YouTube.
Yeah, there's a video replay of all podcasts, all broadcasts. We're also live on Twitch. For some reason, it's not capturing the right screen. Here we go. All right, so there's a picture of it. All right, and this is what it looks like in
Oh.
motion. It's well, Josh, you would know. I don't know how
No,
Tesla's
yeah, I'm saying
economy works.
it's not unlikely because I bought my Tesla, and it's funny because the moment you get in the car, it's like, oh, here's the available like upgrades, and one of them is like an acceleration upgrade where it's like, all right, give us another $2,000 and we'll, the acceleration will be your 0 to 60 will be 0.6 seconds faster.
Yeah,
It's like,
well, there you go.
but
My
I
point
just bought the
exactly.
fucking car, and you want another $2,000 to go a
Well-
little bit faster off the line, like,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's I don't know, that really bothers me. Um, I don't know if that shit's built in and it's not actively using some kind of internet source or something that the company's paying for.
Mhm.
Then there should be no reason for it to be added on. Like, and maybe I guess I get it if it's using any kind of like radar sensor or AI capabilities. I guess I understand then that they're transmitting data, right? So maybe you have to have some kind of subscription.
Yeah, just
You
wait
know.
until EA gets their hands on the car business
Well-
ship thing.
Sony made a car.
That's true.
Hmm. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yep. And it makes me think about the broader implications of this, right? They're filing a patent for this, so that doesn't mean other companies can't get into contracts with them to utilize some of their proprietary items. And if they're like, oh, let's see, just an example, not saying it's going to happen, but a car is a big purchase, right? You got to think anywhere from $20,000 up on average, and you're making that, and it can lock you out of it immediately if you don't make a payment or if you're late. What about if they use some of that same technology? Oh, we just built this brand new house. We have the tech in it.
My tech is
We,
gonna, my house
you
is
know,
gonna go fucking skirting away.
Yeah, no, you
but,
just
but we have locks in it. So
yeah.
now
You come home
now
from work and your house is
it's
locked and you can't get
automatically
in.
locked. It's automatically locked because you didn't pay your mortgage on time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same concept where it's like, okay, how much is too much, really?
Sure.
It's like, okay, call us, we'll work with you. We'll do, like, oh no, I can't even get in my house right now.
Well,
So it's the same. Oh, I can't even get in my car. I have to get to work. How am I going to make the money to do? It's the same thing. And like you said, Poster Boy, you should purchase something that you can afford anyway, so that way you don't have this issue. But again, there are bugs. There are things that happen. If everything was a perfect world, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They wouldn't have needed to invent that in the first place.
yeah. I don't like it. It's not good.
Yep,
It's
I
scary. I
don't
mean,
like it either.
granted, in Ford's patent, it's a system that, like, there's plenty of warning beforehand. This would happen, but like, to your point, stuff happens. Like, it could be an error, it could be a bug, it could be whatever that causes things to lock down. I don't like it. I think that's way too much control out of the hands of the person who's in possession of the item. And
Yeah, that sounds like how Ferrari makes you sign a contract to own one of their vehicles.
I did not know that.
Ferrari says they have a motto.
No,
I think it's
Dom,
like,
none of us are wealthy enough to own a
no,
Ferrari.
it's it's
Well,
like
I
a
don't even
famous
know
thing,
what
though,
your
'cause
One of
you
us
don't
might
19-year-old
be.
ass
technically
is talking about it.
All right, so go ahead, Dom.
you don't technically own the car. Ferrari still owns it. You're just signing a contract that they're allowing you to use their vehicle. You can't
So you
change it or do anything to it.
Oh, I
so you
think I've heard
license
this.
the Ferrari?
Really?
Basically, kind of like that. Yeah, you
That's
don't actually own
interesting.
it. I think
I think I've
they
heard
have a
that
motto.
before,
It's like
actually.
Ferrari chooses you. You don't choose Ferrari.
So
Hmm.
so it's like a lease almost.
Not even a lease. It's like you buy the license to the Ferrari, but you
Yep.
don't own the
Yeah, you
actual
don't. It's
vehicle.
You
not
don't own
your.
the
They
vehicle.
can take it whenever they want.
Wow.
If you fuck around with something that they don't want you to fuck around with, they'll take it.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Well, how does that explain, forgive my ignorance, but how does that explain, I guess I can't expect you to know the answer, but all of these vehicles from collectors, or they buy and sell these things all the time. Like, if I want to sell my Ferrari, like, do I have to get approval from the manufacturer first? Like,
Well, I'm not sure if
Well,
this is like. It sounds like for older Ferraris, it probably doesn't matter. But I think for newer ones, they might be like petty about that.
Well, and it's probably
Maybe.
the same thing where you're selling the license, but like
Yeah.
the same terms that apply to you would then apply to the buyer.
Apply to the
Yeah.
because they would then inherit that responsibility.
Right.
yeah, that's I actually, now that you said that, Dom, I have heard that in the past. But anyways, 414
Oh,
pseudo in
and
chat said in
yep.
chat that most cars you can't just walk onto the lot and buy one. It's like an invite system. You have to be invited to
Wow.
own one of their vehicles. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So, what do you guys want to play a game?
Play a
Oh, I
game.
like games.
Do you want to play a game?
I
Pull
like
pull a
games.
pull a
Yeah.
game, a bite out of the bucket, a game bite.
Mm.
I want to play.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
we can do it. So we're gonna play a game called. Is that
Drum
pizza
roll.
good? Is that pizza good, Reyes?
Oh.
Sorry. What?
As-
It's good.
As somebody on a keto diet, I'm so jealous right
Right?
now.
For
It
context,
looks super
Reyes is
good
eating a
too.
pizza in front of us.
Oh,
Dude, is
God.
that like a meat? It's
meant,
got like
I-
Canadian. It's got pizza. It's got pepperoni, Canadian bacon, sausage. Is that stuffed crust too?
And that is stuffed crust.
The pizza
Yeah.
connoisseur.
God.
Where's that from? Where's that from?
That's a Pizza Hut, 100%.
Nope.
No.
High Five Pizza.
Okay,
High
well,
five.
they're not paying us, so you don't say their name.
All right, sorry, it's Pizza Hut.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna buy Pizza Hut anyways.
Hey, shut
My
up.
nipples are hard. I can't help it.
I can see him pointing out through your shirt there. Can
Well,
you
enjoy your pizza while I drink this 0-carb beer.
And I drink my full of carb beer.
And I sit here quietly.
With your helmet on.
It's funny because it looks like he's just sitting there with his little
Yeah,
avatar.
he's just hanging.
He's just
hanging.
like-
No, he's just chilling.
Like we're fucking bugging him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Boba.
It's all right. All right, so we're playing a game called Error.
Error.
If you were here live last week, you would remember the debacle that was Error. It's basically a game where I'm going to answer in rapid fire succession some questions, and you have to answer the question incorrectly. Okay? That's pretty simple, right? So I'm going to have 10 questions for each of you, and you'll have 20 seconds to answer all of them.
Incorrectly.
Incorrectly, mind you. All right? So let me just get a timer app up here real quick. And we can get this show rolling, okay? Who wants to go first? Reyes is rubbing his nipples. It sounds like he wants to go first. All right. I'm going to put 20 seconds on the clock. Reyes, are you ready?
I was born ready.
I just fucking spoiled all the questions because
I just saw it. I saw it
didn't
for
see
2
him.
seconds on the stream.
Jesus, Post.
Oh, God. All
This
right.
is getting bad.
Reyes, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. You got 20 seconds, and it involves me asking the questions as well. So, and your
All right.
time starts after I ask the first question.
Mhm.
What month of the year starts with the D?
November.
What sound does a sheep make?
Moo.
What ingredient do you put in a toaster?
Ketchup.
Do you like nuclear coffee?
No.
Name a player on the Green Bay Packers.
Tom Brady.
Okay. So that's how many you got through in 20 seconds. You got through 5, and I'm going to give you credit for each and every one of them. All right.
Partially because you're asking so slow.
I was asking him, I thought, fairly articulately and quickly. Should I give him some more time? Should I give him 5 more seconds?
No.
No? Okay. Well, he's the first one, so like if we're going to bend the rules.
Yeah, he offered to go first, so
He typed in first.
All right, so then basically the ones that I don't ask, maybe they could be bonus points later for somebody. If there's a tie, maybe we could do that. Okay. Who wants to go next? Dom?
I'll go next.
Oh,
Okay, Josh wants.
No. You
I'll-
said it before me.
All right, I'll go next.
All
I
right,
want to get
Josh.
this over with.
Ask
Whew.
after the first question. The timer starts,
All right.
and we're gonna start with. What is the primary language we speak on this show?
Greek.
Name this YouTube channel makes the best What You Need to Know videos.
Game ranks.
Name 3 things you typically eat on Thanksgiving.
Fish, crab, and apple pie.
The sound a dog makes.
Well, meow.
All right.
I got 4.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna give you 3 points for the 3 things.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Apple pie I was a little off on.
Yeah, I'm
'cause-
actually gonna give you. I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna give you 2
Don't-
on that one.
Yeah, don't give me apple pie on that one
I was about
because
to
you
say
would
apple
have
pie.
apple pie.
Yes.
Because I was like, you usually pumpkin pie is Thanksgiving, so I'll go apple pie. But I was like, you could have apple pie.
Yeah, you could have apple pie, yeah. My turn. My
Alright.
turn.
All right. Dominic.
Yes.
Timer starts after I ask the first question.
Okay.
Okay. What color is Sonic the Hedgehog?
Purple.
What creatures chase Pac-Man around the maze?
Chickens.
What is the name of Mario's brother?
Waluigi.
Name a color that is not typically on a traffic light.
Banana. Shit. Purple.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
8.
Okay, hold on. All right, so yours, Dom, I got to go through this with you because what color? Okay, so Dom, what color is Sonic? You did not say blue, so that's correct. What
Yeah.
creatures chase the Pac-Man? The answer was Ghost. You said something different. Waluigi is not Mario's brother. So the next one was name a color that is not typically on a traffic light. It's a trick question.
Banana.
And so not only did you say banana, then you said purple, which is actually the example color I wrote down as the correct answer, because name a color that is not typically on a traffic light. It would be red, yellow, or green. Because the correct because the question is, what color is not typically
double negative.
Yes, it's double negative.
Oh, that is a trick question. Yeah.
All of you guys had one. So I think actually, since we each of us only got to 5, maybe we'll have a round 2 of these. How does that sound?
Sounds fun.
But I think banana is correct because yellow is on the top
I am as the judge of the show. I'm not accepting banana as a color. So that was Dom. You're I love you, man.
Such
All right.
a good answer.
All right.
Ooh.
I loved it. What color is not typically on a traffic light? Banana.
So honestly, that's why I had the double negative in there, because you could say literally any color, but it would be right. So anyways, that was good. I had fun with that one. All right, Reyes, you've got 4 more, and you're gonna have 20 more seconds. Okay.
All right.
All right. Here we go. And I'm actually gonna, as soon as I start asking the question this time is when the timer starts. So as soon as I start asking, how many hours are in a day?
18.
What is the opposite of quiet?
Quiet.
What color is orange juice?
Red.
What are the first 3 digits of pi?
8, 2, 4.
A number that comes after 1.
0.
Time's up. Time's up on the last one. That was pretty good.
That was great.
That was solid. I like that.
All right, so I'm going to give you credit for all of them. So, good job.
Ooh, flawless.
Daddy came to play.
Excellent. Yes. All right, Josh. So you actually technically had, so I'm actually going to take out the last question because I gave you credit for the one is 3. So I'm going to delete that one.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't think about that when I wrote these. All right, here we go. As soon as I start asking, the timer starts.
Okay.
What body part do you use to smell things?
Foot.
Name a piece used in the game of chess.
Checker.
How much money do you collect after passing Go in Monopoly?
$2.
What one word does Kratos typically use to refer to his son Atreus?
Fee.
Which GTA takes place in San Andreas? Okay.
GTA 3.
All right. I'll give you the credit for all of the
It's like lagging. It doesn't even finish the word. You know, it's like fee.
Fee. Like, you know, if you owe somebody something, it's a fee. It's what he calls his son.
I love it. That was
a
good.
word.
Oh Jesus! All right, here we go. Dominic, are you ready?
Well, wait. Are you giving me credit for all of those, or
I except for the GTA one? So that
you
one
said
was
San
open.
Andreas? I said 3.
You're right. It was the timer was up before you could answer.
Didn't you say timer was up?
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, fine,
Yeah.
fine. Because you were too slow reading the question.
It's because I started laughing. It's because I started laughing on the Kratos
unprofessional judge, and this is what we get.
This is what you signed up for, man. All right.
I love it though. It was like fee. It wasn't just like fee. It was just a continuation of.
Because I was gonna continue on and say like Phoenix or something, but I was like, no, it's a word.
Oh, I love it. All right, Dom, are you ready?
I'm good.
I'm like giggling to myself over here. All right, we're gonna start. So you got the why was 6 afraid of 7 wrong also, because you ran out of time. So
Okay.
all right, here we go. The name of the actor who plays the Mandalorian.
John Cena.
The opposite of your left hand is.
Left hand.
Name something you wear on your head.
Chickens.
How many wheels does a unicycle have?
7.
What color is Pikachu?
Fuck.
Time's up.
Red. I almost said banana again.
Banana. All right.
Banana wouldn't have worked in that case.
Wouldn't have worked. That's why I thought a little more.
Awesome. Good job, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Dom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. That's 8 or 9 for Reyes.
Oh.
And Josh with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ooh, tie game.
Died.
So there we go. After one game.
Don't
we're
worry,
tied
young
up.
buck. You'll catch up one day.
Yeah, one day you'll get us.
So yeah, that's. I think we'll raise that to 30 seconds for the future.
Yeah,
But
as you get also, it should just be like, I don't know. We need to figure out a way to make it so that the amount of time that you spend wasting reading the questions doesn't count. Because come on,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I think Reyes and myself would have done better if you would have read it better.
Yeah,
I mean, we did start dying when I said banana originally.
That's true.
That's true.
That is very
So,
true.
So Dom, there's this nasty little thing going on that you wanted to talk about, and do you know what I'm talking about?
It's so Microsoft is trying to get a hold of Activision. You know, if you don't know what Activision is, it's the people who make COD, huge fucking game, and they're trying to take it away from Sony basically. And of course, I don't think Sony wants that to happen.
Go ahead, Josh.
No. You go ahead, Post.
Oh, I was just gonna say they're not trying to take it away from Sony.
Yeah.
They're
not trying to take.
Yeah, my
because
bad.
Sony didn't.
That was my bad. Yeah.
Yep. Don't worry. I just had the love of my life come in and throw a towel at me. So
that means she wants a divorce. So,
but no, they don't. That means I win. Okay.
Yep. So basically, the reason why they want Activision is because they describe Sony as a super dominant company that's, you know, outselling Xbox consoles and opposes competition in the form of Activision if they gain it. That's what they were going on.
Sure.
So
from what I read from the article.
Yeah, that's a different argument. So
yeah,
Microsoft has been buying up third-party developers and publishers. Another big one was Bethesda.
Yeah, that was huge.
They bought up Bethesda. So they're trying to acquire Activision.
Mm-hmm.
And so the argument isn't that they're going to retain any kind of exclusivity. But Sony's argument is that by Microsoft owning such a big publisher and Microsoft being a competitor to Sony in the, console landscape, it'll give them a competitive advantage because now they could potentially take Call of Duty exclusive. So Microsoft's argument is saying, well, Sony has all of these exclusive first-party titles that are exclusive. So what's the difference if we have that? So it's and that is only just 1 second. That is only an argument because Sony is going to the FCC against this acquisition, saying that it would create a monopoly. So that's the only reason this argument is coming up. It isn't necessarily that Microsoft is even trying to get exclusivity from purchasing Activision.
Yeah.
It's more so Sony's trying to block it, and Sony is bringing up this argument, and that's their counter argument. So it's a very nuanced situation.
And what's happened is that even because again they're not trying to monopolize it, because at the same time they recognize what cross-platform play is very important for the game's
Yeah.
success anyway. And so what they've done is they've even said to Sony, like, hey, we'll give you, for up to 10 years, the ability to release on the same date and everything as well, to keep the competition going for a decade. I mean,
Yeah, and even
as well, and then after that as well, they'll have more talks. It may not be released on the same day, but it will still be released. But and not only for Sony, they said the same offers for all the other platforms,
yep,
because
and
that's how the game is going to be successful.
for the first time, they've even said that they will include Nintendo in
Hmm.
that agreement. So they're even going one step further and saying we're going to release Call of Duty on parity on Nintendo
Mhm.
consoles for the first time ever
Hmm.
as
Yeah,
part
that
of
was
Yeah.
this kind of agreement. So that's even a huger announcement in all of this.
Exactly. And so to me, them stating, kind of to Josh's point, that it's going to be, oh, they're trying to be a monopoly. Well, and be exclusive. Well, Sony's been exclusive for the longest time in some games. Nintendo, for a while, was exclusive on some of their games.
yeah.
Microsoft was exclusive on some of their games.
Well,
And,
and
and it's but at the same time, now there's more interconnectivity than ever before with all of these games on multiple different platforms. So, and they want to continue that because they know that's the only way to really be successful.
well,
So it's an interesting thing, because they don't. I think it's just a new facet in the platform wars, and
so
that's really what it is.
I want to interject because
Mhm.
honestly, all this comes down to is Game Pass, which we were talking about last week. Okay. Any first party studio for Microsoft, like those games are Game Pass day one,
Yeah.
and including, I'm sure, whatever they want to throw on from their existing library. Okay. So why would you, as a consumer, want to buy games from Sony if I can get it for free with Game Pass? And I've done that, I don't know how many times, where I bought a game on Steam and refunded it because I could get it for free with Game Pass. Um, so, but there's an interesting wrinkle that comes into this argument that just happened within the last day or so, where basically Sony or Microsoft's like, well, hey, you pay for all of this exclusive content for games that are multi-platform, but not only that, but they've been paying all of these developers money to not go on Game Pass. And
Oh,
that's
I didn't know
something that's
that.
kind of come out in the last day or so, Josh. I
Wait
don't
a
know if you
minute.
saw that.
No.
What? Wait a
That
minute. What?
Ooh.
What's
so
been happening?
so basically, and this is an article I read today, it came out yesterday. But basically, so I mean, we all know, for example, Hogwarts Legacy has an exclusive mission that's Sony only. Okay, that's just
Mhm.
one small little thing. But what they've also been doing is paying game developers money to not go on Game Pass. So now,
Oh.
what Microsoft said in court either yesterday or the day before is says you need to provide your financials to show us what you're paying these people. So now it's getting like, it's honestly like the whole thing is a fucking like drama, and I'm loving every second of it because like secretly I want this deal to go through because the more games on Game Pass, the better it is for me as a consumer.
Hmm.
And obviously, I'm not thinking about what the devs want there in that instance. I'm just thinking about what I want and what benefits me. It's kind of selfish, but as a consumer, that's all I should really care. Like,
So,
that's what should be important to
Capitalism,
me.
baby.
so
Hmm.
what you said, Post, it said, I'm reading an article from like today, and it says that kicked off a legal discovery process with Microsoft sending subpoenas to Sony to force it to reveal its records.
Yes. Yep. That's
Yeah,
that's the
discover.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the greatest thing about this is Sony entering a lawsuit means Discovery is going to
it's
reveal
gonna
all
be,
of this kind of stuff.
Woo.
and it's gonna be
I mean,
great.
It's
I
gonna be
mean, really,
beautiful.
because Sony brought the U.S. Federal Trade Commission in. If Sony could have talked to Microsoft and settled this, without doing that, it could have been fine. But if you want to bring, and so it's kind of like, okay, we can talk things out offline, right? But if
Mhm.
you want to take it up higher in the chain of command and not
Mhm.
discuss it at that level, I'm not just gonna let you. I'm not just gonna let you walk all over me.
Right.
I'm gonna fight back, right? And then we both might lose in some
Mhm.
ways, right? And then everybody's not happy.
Sure.
It's one of those things again. It's the platform wars that's been happening for, a long
Oh,
time now.
Well, the
And
best. I just want to say
here's
the
a fun.
best.
Oh, you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dom.
Here's a little fun fact about this. The last time there were similar things like this was a court case between Epic Games and Apple, and back in 2021.
Oh,
Something similar to that happened before.
yeah, yeah, and that really, I forget who that fucked over. I think it was Epic Games who got fucked on that.
I think so.
And they had to pay a
Mhm.
lot of money. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look it up. But
Yeah.
the really kind of, it's not really exciting, but the thing I'm most looking forward to all of this is I love seeing how things operate for this,
Mhm.
especially like with businesses and stuff. So like just having the veil peeled off and just being able to see like who's getting paid, to keep exclusivity. It's going to start all of this drama, and like then game devs are going to be pissed because they're going to be, well, you paid Naughty Dog
Yeah,
this much
yeah.
money to keep your game. You're going to you're going to pay them this much, but you only paid me this much to keep my game. Well, fuck you, Sony. And Josh, while he's pooping or peeing, I don't know what he's doing. It's not my thing, but Epic ended up removing Fortnite from the App Store because they had to pay Apple royalties, is what it was. So,
Oh.
thank you, Josh. So I don't know. This is a really huge thing. Like I said, I told you my stance on it. I would love to have more stuff added to not to Activision, but to Game Pass. And there's a big ass fucking spider right there.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Spider
Get it.
cameo.
Kill it. Kill it.
I got him. Well,
Yeah, man.
he's probably alive, but he went flying.
Yeah.
So
But to me, the bottom line is that w- if Microsoft does, end up winning this and they get the acquisition, it's going to be better for the overall gaming consumer. It's
Mhm.
mhm.
just it
Yeah.
just it will be. It's not going to interfere with cross-platform play. And it's actually what Microsoft has done is they've actually broadened it, to places where it was not on before. And so to me it's still they're doing what they're doing, and that doesn't mean there
Well,
might not be some exclusive games at first,
I don't know.
but still it's going everybody's going to be able to participate. Almost everything's coming out more and more as being cross platform.
I've got to take what you say though with a grain of salt, just because you've got
Ah 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 ah
I'm not saying
Uh-oh.
anything. I'm just saying you've got reason to have uh to pick
a
one
little
side or the other
biased.
on this. A little bit of
Maybe,
bias
yeah,
on
maybe
this.
there's some bias.
A little
Uh,
bit.
um, A little bit, a little, but if you're going off of the gaming consumer, right? What's uh, what's going to benefit that more? You even said to yourself, Poster Boy, what's going to benefit the gaming consumer more?
Well, but here's the thing, and this is a good point, a good argument too, is that what happens after that 10 years? What is Microsoft going to do after all of these, promise contracts are up? Now, most
You
likely
have
they'll
plenty
keep
of
their.
time
Well, I know
though
there is,
for those
but what I'm saying
contractual things.
is, what if they start? What if they start dissolving these companies? What if they start eliminating these companies? And like that's the argument for the point of monopolization, is buying up all these studios and either merging them or killing them or whatever to make sure that you're the one getting all the content from these few studios. And it's a fair argument to make, but
Hmm.
I personally don't think it's enough, and I think Sony is just kind of in a bad spot because like they have been they've been paid. I mean, there's been articles in the past about it where they pay developers not to go on Game Pass. I mean, who knows how much, but and typically it's their first party stuff. But like for example, I remember it coming up when the show the show came on Xbox Game Pass, and it's because they said something about how they didn't accept, and I'd have to go look for the article, so this could be a baseless claim, but I thought I remembered reading that they didn't want the money from Sony because they would make more money with their game on Game Pass. So it's just a very interesting and nuanced thing, as Josh was saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, this whole thing's been it's very interesting. I can't wait to see how everything unfolds and stuff.
Yeah. Really.
And I'm ready. I'm just ready.
You ready? I've been
I am.
actually keeping a pretty close eye on it because I am super interested. It's like an action, not an action trial. It's just a drama. It's like I'm watching Lifetime. Like my mom is watching Lifetime. Yeah. So
as somebody with no horse in the race, like it is interesting to just watch it from afar and be like,
well, dude, you're watching the two big dogs duke it out. It's a heavyweight fucking battle, man.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm here for it, man.
Stadium full of people. We ready.
I mean, if you think about it, years later, and it may not be years later with how Netflix is rolling out documentaries for everything, So it may be a year or two from now, honestly. but we could be seeing a documentary on this, the game, the gaming war, or something of that nature.
Mhm.
sure.
Just because of this battle right here.
Well, and what I like to compare this to in an extent is to when Sirius and XM, the satellite radio companies, went to merge and the FTC tried to block it. Like that's the closest parallel that I can draw recently. Because it was like you guys are going to make a monopoly out of this satellite radio, and the argument was like, well, it's still not a competitor to terrestrial radio, so what's the problem? And that's how I see Microsoft and Activision, because they're basically saying like we're still not going to be a competitor to Sony on the whole, so what's the problem? But it's like, well, there's all of these other implications to these two giant conglomerates joining and becoming this massive conglomerate. So
And you got to think both companies too are not solely siloed in just the gaming industry. They have different facets of electronics, of different sorts of software and things of that nature, all out there. Yeah, and so some of their products and things of that nature is not just solely around gaming. So to be a monopoly is like you run you're monopolizing this entire market, which is not the case. And so it's one of those things.
There's an argument. I disagree. I think there's an argument for it. There's an argument for it for sure.
See, I agree with the Microsoft side of it, but not necessarily the Activision, because Activision is 100% all gaming, their umbrella. Because even like there other facets that Activision delves into is like mobile gaming, but it's still
and that's
gaming.
That's Microsoft's quote unquote main reason.
Microsoft and Sony, Activision, yes, Activision, that's their whole purpose, right?
Sure, but we're talking about Microsoft Game Studios versus PlayStation. We're not talking about just Microsoft versus Sony.
So, but no, Josh, you brought up a good point there, because that's like in the opening arguments, that's what Microsoft wanted Activision for, was for its severely diminished mobile gaming market that they have no spot in. So, and I think that's just a bullshit. That's kind of a bullshit, I think, statement, which, yeah, you'll get some of that, but I don't think that's the primary purpose. But you got to look at the trends of what Microsoft has been doing, and they've been buying big name game developers. And if you own all of the big boys, I mean, that's why the whole monopolization thing is a valid point. But like I said, I still stated my stance on the thing.
Yeah, as long as you can pay $15 a month to play everything, you're okay.
Dude, hey, honestly, I don't want to say it because I don't want to give anybody ideas, but if you added the Activision library to it, if it was $20, that's still a value in my eyes. So, anyways, if you guys don't have any last thoughts, closing remarks on that, I did want to bring up a couple things real quick. Number one, we are actively doing our Bucket Bites Game of the Month. So we kind of brought it last week. Josh did the thing, and I made me want to do it too. So basically, Game of the Month is kind of like the Bucket Bites Book Club, so to speak, but we're doing it with games. And we kind of talked about it last week. So the last week of the month, we're going to be introducing the Game of the Month. We determined that the game is called Signalis. It's kind of like a 2.5D stylized pixel art, Silent Hill horror. It's actually like anime too. So if you're into that, but it's not so heavy on the anime. Like, I don't like anime, and I really enjoyed this game.
It's an art style.
It's a great, and it's made by Rose Engine, which is just two people in this entire, and for the entire company, it's just two people, which I thought was pretty impressive for the quality of game that they put out.
It takes twice as many people as it made to make that game as it does to do this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Valid.
That's yes, and they made a lot of money. So what we're doing,
anyone?
I wanted to go to school for it, and then I had a kid. So like I said, Dom, listen to me when I say only have kids when you're ready.
All right, I got you.
So with this Game of the Month, we're doing a giveaway at the end of the month. If you're in Twitch chat live, you can do ! GOTM, Game of the Month, and it'll give you a link to a Gleam.io website link. You can choose to enter. Dom's on it. There's a bunch of different ways to enter during every live broadcast, which you can also hear this on Spotify and then on YouTube later. We're going to have a special code, and these special codes are by far the best way to get the potential to win the game. Okay, so everything else is like 2 to 5, maybe I think one is 10 points. But by entering this code in, you get 50 points, or 50 entries, I should say, sorry, towards winning this. And there's going to be 3 of them over the course of the month. So today, that code is going to be Rose, the number 1, and Engine. So Rose 1 Engine, all one word, ROSE 1 ENGINE. And you can just put that into the Gleam entry, and you'll get the 50 points for that.
Numerical one or
the numerical one? That is correct. The numerical one.
Rose 1 Engine.
Yes. So you can enter that in for a chance to win. And if you don't want this game, if you win, there's a couple things we're going to do. Is if you already have this game or don't want it, next month or this month, you can get the next Game of the Month, which we'll announce on the last episode of the month. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want that game either, then we will work that out, I think, as we get there. So maybe a gift card, maybe not. I haven't determined. Could be just a Bucket Bite shirt. Who knows? But we speaking of Bucket Bite shirts, by the way.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Hey.
Look at that.
Oh.
Look at him.
And it's mirrored image because Discord likes to fucking... Here, I'll stand up so you guys can see better. See my man boobies.
Look at him.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
If I had one, I would have worn it.
Yeah, same here.
If you had one, you would have worn it.
Too.
I won't shit on post. I have one. It's in the other room. I'm slacking.
But yeah, if you guys want, just so you know, kind of shout out to the merch store. If you guys want some sweet Bucket Boy, I said Bucket Boy. I'm fired.
Oh.
Bucket Bot wear. You can just go to our link tree, linktr.ee/bucketbites. There's a link to the merch store. There's kind of a couple right now because embroidered stuff is on one website, and we'll get it all in one place eventually. But if anybody wants to support the show, you can do so, and they have some pretty sweet freaking stuff to wear.
I like that Bucket Bot. I think he's adorable.
Dude, Bucket Bot's the best.
Boy.
You know, the artist reached
So
out to me.
cute.
The artist reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, so if you want Bucket Bot like in some different poses, hit me up." And I'm like,
Ooh, amen.
Maybe someday.
I want to see him break dance.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Can we get him animated?
Get him yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You guys trying to bankrupt me now? I think that's what we're trying to do. So another topic I want to kind of talk about. Oh, and also shout out to our sponsor, Nuclear Coffee, nuclearcoffeewi.com. So, and I guess I can still count Josh, Suggestive Gaming on YouTube. I wanted to talk about ultra enthusiast hardware on PC. Does ultra enthusiast hardware strangle PC gaming? And this was something that was sent to me from a fan of the show. Anyone out there, feel free to just send them in if you want us to talk about it. But go ahead, Josh.
Can I ask like what entails ultra enthusiast?
Okay.
Yes.
So basically what the article goes on to say is that, a bunch of, throughout COVID, we had scalper prices on the best hardware, which drove up the prices on everything that was even stuff that was available, right? Like you could get your hands on a 1660 Ti, but you're paying an extra $200 for it just because some scalpers were holding off on holding your 3080s and 3090s. Okay. So during this time, there's a lot of stuff that came out that was like the best of the best, like high spec stuff at pretty high prices. And we really haven't seen anything mid-level kind of come out. I know the AMD cards, like graphics cards that came out, were pretty reasonably priced, but does ultra, I guess that's what the article is, does ultra enthusiast hardware, like top of the line stuff, impact and strangle the rest of PC gaming?
Can I go on a little bit of a rant here?
Yeah.
I think a big part of the problem is NVIDIA. And the problem is, so for example, DLSS 2.0 and like the frame rate interpolation stuff in the newest graphics cards is exclusive to the 40 or the 4000 series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, I want the newest features in the newest games, but I need the newest card.
Yeah.
If they backported a lot of that stuff, and I understand hardware is a limitation, but I'm sure you could increase the original DLSS on the... Was DLSS on the 20 series or the 30 series? I don't remember.
I know it's for sure
series.
on the 30 series.
Was it the 30?
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just looking it up because I thought DLSS was actually first introduced on this 20 series.
That's what I thought.
Because right now we're on DLSS 3, I thought, with the 40
Is that right?
series
Okay,
card.
okay. That would.
And I might be wrong.
Because I think because RTX was
see.
2000, I think.
Correct. Yes, the 20 series was the first with the RTX.
That would have definitely been the first DLSS. So the issue here is like the difference between the generations of graphics cards, where it's like whenever a new series of graphics cards comes out, it's like, all right, now you've got these exclusive features that are exclusive to these new games, and it's like, all right, well, because I've even had that problem where I have a 4090 in my main PC, and this isn't a whatever. But like, and I have a 3080 in my secondary PC, but I'm playing new games, and it's like, oh yeah, you can't use this feature because you don't have a 40 series. And it's like it's literally a 3080.
Yeah, it just came out a year and a half ago.
Exactly, and I can't use these new features. Like, this is ridiculous. So I think there is a bit of the problem on the hardware manufacturers that they're locking down these feature sets for 1 year of generation
of profits. Yep.
Well, and that's tech as a whole is planned obsolescence. And maybe it's not necessarily planned. To a degree it is, but like technology advances that fast.
Yeah,
so
but at the same time, like if I buy a PlayStation 5, I expect to use that thing for at least 5-6 years before a PlayStation 5 Pro comes out and all of a sudden there's new features. If I buy a graphics card for $2,000, like I shouldn't expect it to be obsolete within a year. Like that's insane.
But that's kind of always been the case, right? If you really think about it, you know, if you look at the consoles that have come out, PlayStation 2, Xbox, Xbox 360, and then it just going on. Like you said, it's years between each evolution. Whereas the technology industry has advanced so fast, the gaming cards, the CPUs, the RAM, all these things are advancing so fast. And every 6 months, you're coming out, and sometimes even sooner than that, like 3 months. It's crazy. So 3 to 6 months of time, you're coming out with brand new hardware already
Mhm.
that's advancing more and more and more. So 2 years down the road, you're already 3 or 4 iterations behind, and that to me is it's a good thing on one end, but it's so hard because again, you want that longevity of your equipment.
Mhm.
You want that longevity. You want to be able to utilize these new features, but everything's coming out so fast where you're constantly pumping in money to be able to do so.
To
Let me
rebound
ask.
off of
Oh, go ahead,
Josh
Dem.
a little bit. So he was talking about like longevity and g- like graphics cards only good for like a year or so. That's like one of the biggest things that prevents me from wanting to get into PC building because that shit seems expensive. And I
Well,
like keeping up to date with my stuff. So like it's annoying seeing something so expensive being like, well, that's not gonna fucking happen. I'm gonna stick with my nice old Xbox.
yeah. Well, it's funny because I'm gonna a friend of the show, back to Gearhead. He just bought a gaming PC, and immediately it wasn't performing the way he wanted to. Right. So he started buying parts for it, and like my thought process was like, well, why are you doing this when your system, like, it's better than mine, it performs better than mine, but like he's trying to max the stuff out. And I think a lot of it is the PC elitism, just kind of like, well, hey, I paid this much money, I gotta have the highest frames, the best performance. It's like, what else? Why else am I paying the money for this? And I don't disagree with that per se. Like, you kind of have to, because with, like, for example, Hogwarts is a very poorly optimized game.
Yes.
Hard to disagree.
Oh.
But
You
what are
really
you playing
disagree?
it on? Are you playing it on your number one or your number two
See,
tower?
this is where I was gonna go. Hard disagree on a 4090. It is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
Boom.
sure it's
There it
fun
is.
playing at 160 frames per second constantly without even fucking breaking a
Yes.
sweat. On a
Yes.
38, on a 30 fucking 80, which is again not long ago.
Yep.
I'm getting fucking dips, and I have a 12700, so it's not even like my CPU is bottlenecking. I'm getting
Imagine,
down to
like,
20,
my
30 frames per second.
Imagine
So
my
like,
little 1080 trying to run that shit at, like
it would blow up.
See, and again, this is what I was talking about, where those like AI features, like DLS 3.0, if we're saying is the latest, I think, and then the frame rate interpolation stuff, like it's insane. It's night and day difference. If I were to turn off DLSS and the frame rate stuff, I'd be running it at like, even with the 4090 base, I don't think I'd hit 60 frames per second. But those AI features help. And
Sure.
it's crazy that they're locked down to like the newest ones. And I get that they add, these AI cores to the latest models, but you can't tell me that they can't backport some of that technology to the older generations.
Yeah, I agree with that. But how much of this is on the game developers too, leaning on? Hold on, and so
I'm sorry, I see what you're saying.
yeah, leaning on these enhancements so that they can get a pass to make their game playable. Because standalone, the game is not playable. And if I'm being completely honest with you, if I have DLSS on or DLSS off, I'm maybe gaining 10 frames on I only bring up Hogwarts because it's like the newest game, and like it kind of had some, you know, it performance issues with some people. So how much of it is really like developers leaning on these advanced AI features? To a degree, it's a big part of it. Is it the developer's fault? No, I don't think so.
Well,
But-
and there's so many differences because, and we saw this with the Dead Space remake.
Okay.
Each platform had their own like hardware related
Preset?
Yeah, I guess would be the way to put it. And so each like release performed very differently on launch because each console or platform in the PC case like has its own way of doing that different kind of like rendering at a different resolution and then upscaling. So like for example, the PS5 on launch looked horrible because I guess like the different resolution scaling that they used was not as clear as the Xbox and PC, so it didn't look as good. So I agree that I think like developers are put in a tricky situation where they have to account for all of these different things.
Sure.
And like, yeah, on PC they have this great like helper with DLSS where it's like, all right, we don't need to optimize as much because that can step in. But what about the folks who don't have DLSS equipped graphics cards? And then we run into this exact situation. So
it's almost like they're cutting corners.
But at the same time, like, is that their fault or is it the fault of just the current state of technology?
Well, and this leads into another argument we had in the past when Henry from Dark Fusion was on with, is the $70 game worth it? Like, they got to pay people money to make this game work all over the place with all of these different setups. So it's just funny how one thing leads to another whole different issue. And it's like, it's really easy to focus on one issue. But when you take gaming as a whole, like it's super convoluted with issues to discuss. And also I wanted to mention that article goes into like with mouses and keyboards and all this other stuff and just kind of
mice.
Listen,
mice.
You're right. I'm sorry.
He looked so sad and down. He was like,
I try to pride myself on my I don't know. I try to pride myself on my grammar, even though I'm not very articulate. So it clashes a lot, and I have problems. I'm sorry, but no, it goes. But I will say this, Josh. We talked about before Henry came on. We talked about the Intel Arc GPUs, and they actually apparently I didn't read specifically on this, but they have actually their Arc GPUs are pretty decent at a super low fucking price, and they're apparently performing pretty well.
Yeah,
so
they're very affordable.
That's optimism in my eyes. So, what do you guys say we play another game since we are getting close to the end of the show? Yeah,
Sure, game.
Oh yeah. This game is a game I like to call RAM Test. We're going to be testing your quick access memory. I'm going to give you a topic, and you're going to have to name 5 items in 15 seconds.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
oh, jeez.
Actually, I'm going to give you 20 seconds, because first time we got to, because why not?
Training wheels on.
All right, so like I said, I'm going to give you the topic. As soon as I finish the phrase, it's just one topic. You got to name 5 items within that, okay? You'll get a point for each one that we accept. All right? Who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
Sure.
Nobody's volunteer. Okay, Dom's first. Fantastic.
Okay.
Each of you are going to get 2 of them. Okay?
Okay.
So you guys have a potential earnings of 10 points. Dom, your first one. You need to name 5 things. Let me turn on sound. You need to name 5 things that you plug in. And go.
Computer, TV, Xbox, microwave, toaster.
Okay, that's 5. Good job.
Okay.
Good job. 5
All right,
points
there
to
you go.
Gryffindor.
okay.
Gryffindor, I like it.
Gryffindor.
So, alrighty. The next one, I guess we'll just go down the list. It'll be Andre.
All right.
Oh,
I like to
and
call myself the better looking, Mr. Clean. So
I
it's just like I just like to go there.
I just want to say, I remember when you used to say, I look like my celebrity you look like is The Rock.
The Rock.
Do you still?
Ooh, look at that eyebrow. Hello.
Okay, was he right? Oh Jesus, get over yourself, bro. I did want to say that all of I'll give a bonus point to if anybody can figure out what the theme of all of these items are, because there is a theme. Okay. And all right, so Reyes. So the first one was things you plug in. Okay. Reyes, this is yours. Sides for breakfast other than bacon. Go.
Eggs, hash browns, pancakes, grits, oatmeal, raisins.
Give me one more.
What else? Oh, okay. But toast.
All right, that's good. I wasn't gonna count eggs because that was more of a and pancakes also, because those were both kind of like the main course of a breakfast.
I get those as sides all the time. They're
like
small.
normally
They're small
sides.
little ones.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the main?
So I'll usually get like a scramble as my main, and then I'll get like a
But
little
that's
a little.
eggs.
No, it's a scramble of like bacon.
I would like
bacon,
eggs with a side of
sausage,
eggs,
ham,
please, ma'am.
and it's
Well, and
scrambled.
pancakes are
scrambled
definitely
inside
a
of it.
main.
I was thinking pancakes
are
are
So
main.
but I'm saying what I get as a side. So
Well,
you said
listen,
side.
fair.
we're all not the Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Hashwa. I should have left this at 15 seconds, by the way. You need to name 5 flavors of ice cream and go.
Chocolate, Rocky Road, Jesus, vanilla, strawberry, fucking, I don't know.
One more, dude.
I don't, caramel.
There, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a flavor.
It's like almost every flavor is part of ice cream.
I'm lactose intolerant. I don't eat ice cream.
That's so cool.
Don't tell me that, because you lactose intolerant people, you all like to somehow drink milk and eat that stuff anyway.
I hate milk.
Yeah, and I suffer
Really?
for it
Because
by
my fiance
squirting out my
lactose
bottom.
intolerant, and all the other people I've met who are lactose intolerant are like, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, but I love milk and
I hate
ice
milk.
cream. And I'm like, you're
milk
the
is so
first person.
nasty.
You're the first person, Josh, that makes fucking sense to me.
To be fair, though, I love a chocolate milk. Like, I love a good
Yeah.
chocolate milk, like with a lot of syrup. Like, I love that.
Ooh, yeah.
But
Yeah, and then
like,
you just pay for it by squirting out later.
But at least
Yeah.
regular milk, you hate it. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
if you poured me a glass of milk, I'd be like, get the shit away from me.
People drink regular milk to like refresh themselves. I don't.
Yeah,
Get it.
no, I hate
scary.
milk.
No. It's like she does it anyway, even though she's lactose.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one, I guess we're gonna go with. Ooh, these get kind of hard.
Is it back to me?
It's gonna
Yeah.
go to Dom.
Huh?
This one might be hard. These last ones might be hard for Dom.
Oh no, is it boomer stuff? Oh,
It's
my
not
goodness.
It's not boomer stuff. Hold on. I'm gonna find you one different one. All right, here. This one I'm gonna do.
I fucking love Dom's dynamic.
It's like he's basically is it geriatric shit? I don't
Yeah.
know geriatric shit.
It's like, my joints don't hurt yet. I don't get it.
I'm like, and he's like, I don't have sundowners. I can remember your names. So what the fuck?
All right, Dom, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, I need you to name 5 types of injuries.
Dislocated shoulder. Wait, am I going now? Dislocated
Yes,
shoulder.
go.
Sprain, hamstring torn, ACL injury, neck pain.
I'm not counting that one.
Broken bone, broken arm, broken femur.
Sure.
broken leg.
There you go. Okay, that counts. Good.
They count. Take it from me. They count.
Thank you.
Yeah, neck pain isn't an injury. It's just something we live with.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's a morning
If you're at a
problem.
set, it's like, yeah.
All right. Man, I don't know who I want to. All right.
We're going in order.
This one's
he
for
said.
Reyes. I know. I'm just trying to determine who I wanted to give. All right. Reyes. I need you to name. This is one I was going to give to Josh, but I'm flipping him. You need to name 5 whiskey brands.
Oh, geez. And don't the Captain Morgan. There is freaking. I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna do well on this one.
All
Maker's
right, time's
Mark.
up. I'll give you the
Yeah.
last one.
I'm glad
All
you
right.
didn't ask me. I know 3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not doing them.
If you gave me that one, that would have been a great game.
Well, I mean, you could have done like Old Forester, Buffalo Trace. I guess I'm a bourbon guy.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna
The
say
fact,
like
the fact that I've been on a diet and have not been allowed to drink.
All right.
I drink
Besides
one whiskey,
beer.
and if it's not that, I go home.
Yeah. Well, Jameson.
I was like, that's a rough one.
So that one, I slightly changed. It was originally named 5 Irish whiskey brands.
Ooh, that's
it was going to be even tougher,
worse.
and I only personally know 3. So that's fine. All right,
And
Josh.
and you're the biggest alcoholic out of all of us, so you basically set us up to fail.
No.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a
That's
contention.
All right. So this last one is also very difficult. Okay.
Great.
I'm going to preface this by saying you're free to think outside of the box. Okay.
Okay.
Just a bucket.
Listen, this is my first rodeo. Okay. I definitely have not done 24 of these before this. All right. Josh.
Yes.
You have to name 5 Robins.
Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, the Red Robin, the restaurant, and then the Robin bird that flies in the air that's red.
Okay, that works. I gotta look up who are the first 3. Are those all actors that play Robin?
I was like, who are they?
No, those are the
like,
comic
names.
Yeah, those are the comic book characters.
Robins,
It was
yeah.
Dick Grayson was the first Robin.
Okay,
Jason
right.
Todd was the second, and then Tim Drake was the third.
Jason Todd.
Okay.
Red Hood.
Jason Todd did turn into the
Gotcha.
Red Hood. That is correct. After the Joker killed him.
Cool.
Quote unquote.
See, I'm glad that I asked you that. There was a second half to that. It was either a Robin or a Rita. I should have
Rita.
Yeah,
know
so
what the
like
hell a
famous
Rita is.
famous Ritas. You could have said Margarita. Like that's the one I thought of right away.
Like-
Or like I don't know any other Ritas.
Did my Red Robin the restaurant count?
I did. It did count. It did count.
That counts. Yeah.
So awesome, guys. So Dom with 10, Reyes with 7, Josh with 10, and it's because Reyes got the shit end of the stick. So
Sad.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. I take all sorts of discrimination daily. It's okay.
We got another one from Dom,
Ooh,
and you wanted your description for this bite was
all right, bro.
so we keep track of our bites, right? And the one how Dom described this was, I think this could be really good to talk about. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
I think it would be really good to talk about.
I think it'd
Yeah.
be
I think so
good to
too.
talk about
Good-
The
good
significance
conversation.
of a good character. This can range from games, TV shows, or movies. What is the significance of a really good character? Now, for me, I should probably go first for an example. I think Arthur Morgan fits the description of a significant character that changes the effect of the game. He
Okay.
has an amazing character development that really digs deep into who he was as a person and how he's changed as a man. During the beginning of the game, he's seen as a ruthless outlaw who is very loyal to a certain cause that he believes in deeply. Slowly over time, he realizes that that cause is no longer a thing that he can go back to. And then he develops from that and realizes that he should be going after what he wants and saving the other people that he cared about and forgetting about what he was loyal to before. And I think that as a character was like really good for him.
So do you is like his character development what makes him significant?
Yeah, I think that's what makes him significant towards the plot of the story because that is it goes on the name of the game, Red Dead Redemption. That's his redemption. His
Well,
character
well then,
development
well
goes
then,
into
Dom, I have a question for you then surrounding that. Is that really the character development, or or is it just a good storyline development surrounding the character? Because no, because the storyline right there
Mhm.
really gives insight into how the character should be, right? And how the
Yes.
storyline progresses is how, and then you can gain more insights into how the character should progress, how they kind of okay, would they react in this situation. There's a lot more facets in this too.
Yeah. Um, I see it as in like I should probably like make it a little more specific when I'm talking about like a significant character because let's say like Arthur himself as a character just by himself, he's seen as a strong person of that gang. He's seen as like a reliable person of that gang, and I think that's also what makes him significant. But you're right about it being related to the story as well. I think they can go hand to hand. Like the story leading with the character makes him more significant. I think that's how I would view it.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think a good protagonist drives the story. And I would agree with you. Like Arthur Morgan, his development throughout Red Dead 2. Like, I think we can all agree Red Dead 2 is a masterful
Yes.
story, and
Mhm.
his development drives the plot and even the other kind of sub stories with the other characters. And especially if you've played Red Dead 1,
Mhm.
um, like knowing where the story ends up. Like Rockstar did a fantastic job of putting Arthur Morgan in that driving factor of leading you to like you already know where these characters end up, but
Yes.
seeing where they start and then making Arthur the catalyst. Not necessarily the catalyst, I shouldn't say, but like being in the center of them winding up where they are at the beginning
Mhm.
of the original Red Dead. um he Arthur Morgan as a character grows throughout that story in a very phenomenal way. And I would agree, like he is a like prime example of a greatly written protagonist.
Mhm. And a
So
better way to probably say like what you said, Josh, would be like the effects of Arthur was the product of Red Dead 1. Like after Arthur, whatever after everything with him, the product was Red Dead 1.
Yep.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But no, but I think something that's really important that cannot be overlooked and really needs to be stated is that any good character needs to get the message across to their audience. It doesn't matter what modality or method you do it, but the message you intend, the intended message, needs to be able to be received in the intended way by the audience. And to be able to do that, there's many different ways that it's done with. What message do you all get from me right now if I'm doing this constantly, like, and I'm doing,
that The Rock didn't have his protein shake this morning.
you know, but I'm kind of done. I'm rubbing my eyes, you know. Okay, um, low energy. Or what message do I get from? Hey, hi. It's really
The
about
Rock had
how.
cocaine.
It's really about how you deliver the message, the tone of the message, the content that you speak in the message. There's so many things that come up with the message delivery in really that because in communication, no matter what,
Mhm.
you have a sender and you have a receiver.
But I
It's
do
all
have a counterpoint to that, and go ahead, Post. You have a thought, I can
Yep.
tell.
Mine's slightly off topic. So if you have a counterpoint to his direct point, please make it.
My counterpoint is, what about silent protagonists like Isaac Clarke in the original Dead Space? So a lot of folks loved the original Isaac Clarke, and he really didn't say a word until, I mean, in the beginning he did, and then nothing until like the end of the game.
Body language and actions.
Fair enough. That's true.
Yeah, and so because that is another method of communication. We as humans, we get that communication from many different areas. Eye contact, the way people are moving their bodies. If you can, if they're anxious, if how they talk to you, their tone, their posture. So it's really different. Now, even the speed I deliver the message. If I'm talking to you like this, or if I'm talking to you like this.
Talk to me, daddy.
So
so there's so many. It's all about how you deliver the intended message, whether that's via your body, whether that's via verbally, and whether that's via your actions throughout the storyline. All of that has to be together to put together a good character.
So it seems like even on the subliminal level, like the actions of the character in an interactional level is what you're saying is what contributes to the strength of the character, not necessarily the story around them or the development of said character's growth necessarily, but just how they present.
And this could also go with like a protagonist like Gordon Freeman, like as what Josh said, like silent protagonist type. Gordon Freeman is probably known as like a very well-known character. We don't know much about him, of course, but we just know that he was a normal dude, went into his job, and everything went to hell, but he still made it out. Like that's a significant character in my eyes.
That's actually a great point. Is Gordon Freeman has no character whatsoever.
He doesn't.
Besides, he was a theoretical physicist.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we know.
When I first read this topic, Tom, I kind of thought of it in a different way.
Oh.
I started thinking of all of my favorite things to watch or play and why I like them. And is it because there's great characters? So you could have good stories and shitty characters, and it could be shit. And more often than not, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So at top face value, a good character is what makes or breaks any kind of media. But the kind of side point I wanted to make was I often think that your antagonist or your anti-hero type, that is what kind of makes a show better than your protagonist. If you have a really strong antagonist, I feel that it's a lot easier to carry a show or some kind of media with a stronger antagonist. That, like, let's, think of it like...
Can I add on to what you were saying?
And
go ahead, Dom.
An antagonist, like what you were saying, I wanted to get into that as well because antagonists, like you said, they can carry the show sometimes. Like, for instance, a character from a TV show called The Walking Dead named Negan, he completely decimated the fan base of the show when he killed two fan favorite characters in the same day. And then from that point on, he built this character. Jeffrey Dean Morgan did an amazing job as him and built this character of like pure dominance and fear towards the others around him.
As someone who didn't watch this show, his was more of a redemption arc, wasn't it?
It basically did turn into that.
Or no?
But
was it? I didn't watch
later,
the end of the show, so that's like right when I stopped.
But I'm just gonna say that the governor walked so Negan can run. That's all I'm gonna say.
But what's interesting? But what's interesting about post your comment to me, about the antagonist is, yes, a protagonist and an antagonist. The beginning of the story, that internal strife that gradually builds crescendos until you have a climax, and then again you and then
you grab the Kleenex
and then you crescendo, and then you journey on, and then again you gradually build up, and then to an action point, then you climax, and then
And
it's
then
a
you grab another
continuous
Kleenex.
development. But the protagonist and the antagonist, I because the how it state what a good character, right? And you're taking, I think, very literal, like, well, good protagonist, where I think we're just
No.
taking it as good storyline and storyline development. Whereas, yes, you need to be able to have those same aspects, not only with your protagonist, you need it with your antagonist. You need that connection point that resonates, that resonates, and that the storyline makes sense with your intended audience
Let
too, as you journey through it.
let me give you an example. I don't like Marvel movies. I don't think they're bad. I just don't enjoy them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Infinity War, the one with Thanos.
Mhm.
I absolutely loved those two movies. Because I absolutely fell in love with the character of Thanos because of how complex and deep his character was.
Yeah.
And you know, I just anytime like that's what made that movie for me, was because it was a really good character that drew me in, right? That like it made it believable that you
Resonated
have
with you.
it. Yeah, it yes, it resonated with me, and it made me like I didn't give a shit about the heroes. I understood why this man did what he did and why it was wrong. I shouldn't call him a man, but you know. Uh, Alternatively, people think I love Batman. I don't love Batman. I love the Joker and a lot of the DC. To be honest, a lot of the DC villains.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. I like Batman's cool. He's great, but like he's kind of a deep character, I guess. His parents died, and now he fights crime, and he talks in deep voice. Where are they? So like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I really enjoy the anti-hero or
Mhm.
the the antagonist side. If I can understand them better, then that's what allows me to enjoy the story, because I like to understand. I hate stories where the person's bad and they're just bad because they're bad. Like they tell us they're bad. I want to understand, and that's what makes, if they have a good character who is the bad guy, then I love it. That's what makes it for me.
And it makes and that's the thing, though. You, as an attendant audience viewer, resonates with one of the characters in the movies, which makes you engaged and makes you want to continue watching it,
Sure.
right? And you basically just stated, I resonate with the intended villain's background story, their how they developed and why they became the way they are, with their own justifications, which drives them, which drives their values, and
Right.
and they can describe it, and you can learn and go with them on that journey. Is what draws you in and keeps you invested. Whereas other people feel the same way with the protagonist. Other people feel the same way with the sidekicks.
Ooh.
No, or other people who may not be the main characters, of the movie, because that goes back to
Hmm.
the character development and how these people portray the character, and also goes back to the story writers and that storyline. There's so many facets that gets into that to really bring it to the audience, because every story, no matter if you're in every profession, almost, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say every profession, I'm going to say but most professions, you have to communicate, and you have to change your communication style based on your intended audience to
What?
make it more impactful and
Hold on.
effective.
I just
It's the
had this
same
weird like.
thing. It's the same thing with
Okay.
movies.
Hey,
Gotcha.
speaking
I
of
had
like,
this weird mind fuck where I'm like, wait, how are we talking about professions? And I was like, wait, how did we get here? I had to like, my brain disconnected for a second.
you know.
so speaking of like side characters, I think they could be as important as a protagonist and an antagonist as well. I think they have that value there. Now, for
Hmm.
example, I got this ready. I'm ready. Gears of War
Bring it.
The whole series, Gears of War. There's a side character named Dominic Santiago.
You only like him because his name's Dom.
Oh,
No, I love him for many different reasons.
Yeah, Dom is by far
The best character in the show.
the
Or
best
game.
character in the
The
series.
game.
Yes.
Yeah, hands
Yes.
down.
Hands down.
Dom, as a side character, has so much emotion on the main player itself, and you feel what he feels during certain moments. Not only
Mhm.
did he have like a really like a lot of shitty things happen to him. Like I think in the second game, he on a mission to find his wife that was lost during the Locust
Yep.
War. I forgot
Oh,
directly which one. And they
Mhm.
found him in a pod because the locusts were
Dude,
podding people.
I cried in that
yeah.
game, but in those
dude,
games, by the way.
that scene when you find her and the revelation, like,
Yeah.
still
yeah.
to this
And
day
then-
fucking hits me, dude.
And then Gears of War 3 happens. This is the
Listen, we don't
saddest
talk about
version
Gears
of the
3.
stoic character that we all
No,
used to
Gears
love.
3, to be fair, was the weakest of the first three, but Dom's
story,
in Gears 3 was
at the end.
Gears
Yeah.
3.
Well,
because
not at the end,
it is that just, you know, he has got nothing left to live for, you know,
And
and
at the end, he takes it all for his friends, for
Yeah.
his brother Marcus. May he rest.
Ah, man, you're
Yeah.
unburying.
and going on to side characters like that, I think one of my favorite game series of all time, even though every time I replay it, I second guess myself, is Mass Effect. And
Oh.
there's a character, Morden, who is
Morden's great.
just this quirky scientist character. But in Mass Effect 3, he has the most powerful scene in any video game I've ever played. And I'm serious. Even if I just talked about it, I would cry right here on the show.
So what
It
scene was
is. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to cry right here on the show. But just think about it. It could happen right now if I went into it.
Right.
But like he's this, like he's a interesting character. He's semi-important to the story, but he's quirky. Like he's almost a like comedic, what's the word I'm looking for, where he's
Relief?
like yes, thank you.
Comedic
He's like the comedic relief. Because he's like a weirdo, like scientific nerd character. And
Right.
then in Mass Effect 3, he has one line that literally, when people like just repeat that line, I will well up, because it is just it just goes to say, like you said, like even the side character can be important, because they draw into all of the things you've learned about this character in the past.
Oh.
Post
I
knows
see.
what I'm talking about.
I looked it up. I'm like, oh, now I
yes,
remember.
you remember, and it goes into like that character's like prejudices that you've learned about in the past, and yet he goes against that to kind of help the greater good. It's such a powerful thing, and I hate Mass Effect 3. I think it's one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life. But
well, mainly because of the end, right?
Yeah, well, because of the
rest of the
story
game
in
was
general.
okay.
Like the story in general didn't build onto anything that Drew
Sure.
Kaspershin wrote for the first two games or any of that. But like that one wrap up with Morden's character, and like it's the one I would have not expected at all to wrap up the way it did. But it hit me more than any video game I've ever played in my entire life, and that was a game I disliked. So that
funny, you
just
never
goes to
know.
Dom's point that like it's not necessarily like the main character. Sometimes it's a side character, like those little things that kind of resonate with you or stick in the
Right.
back of your mind, and then like the whole story around them builds up to something that you wouldn't expect.
And to me, just to segue a little bit, and not too much. Remember how we said before how kind of the voice acting in characters too
Ooh,
really
yeah.
contributes
Mhm.
to character development and
100%.
the impact it gives you. And it really does. That's why to me, when I see a high profile actor who's known for playing so many different roles and they're fantastic at it, and they're going in and they're going to be voice acting for a character in a game, I get excited about that, because I know right away that they're going to be able to deliver the impact that it's intended to deliver in the voice acting. Maybe the storyline could be developed a little bit more, right? But that impact, is all part of that, to me. And there's so many different things that'll make people excited about games, right? Now, there's a game coming out I'm excited for. Poster Boy knows, Squadron 42.
Oh,
So and Poster Boy,
If they ever finish it.
so I'm excited about it. Just even seeing the preview for it,
Is it
just
because it has Mark Hamill in it?
not only Mark Hamill,
oh,
but
Mark Hamill's in it. Oh
there's a
shit.
ton of
It's the
high
Star
profile
Citizen
actors.
game.
Yes,
It's the single
Oh,
player of
yes,
Star
and
Citizen.
but it just makes me really really excited about that. One of the things I enjoyed about the Halo games
mhm.
is as the Halo games evolved. So not from the original Halo moving on, all of a sudden you see these newer versions coming out of the old games, and they've redone them with professional
Oh,
actors and
well, it's
and
all the
updated
same.
graphics, and
It's just upgraded
it's all this.
graphics, right?
But sometimes there are some voice changes, and then the newer games came out, and to me, as we advance and the storytelling gets at times way better, and then the voice actors coming and participating and getting involved into it, everything that encompasses that has to be there for to make it really impactful. You're going to get an
Hmm.
impact no matter what, in some way or another, whether it's positive or negative. Let's be honest, right?
Right.
So some things, and we talked about it last time. Some of the voice acting, and some of the storylines are just atrocious,
Sure.
and you dislike a game, and you can't stand it. But
Right.
some games, they just bring you back, and you can't help but want to play it more and more and more. And it's one of those things where it's an art form.
Right. And I guess I'll just, if it's okay with you guys, I'll make the final point on it.
Sure.
For The Last of Us, I think what I loved about that game wasn't the story, wasn't, the gameplay, it was the actors and the character developments that really kind of drew me into that game. And like I said, like you got what, Troy Baker as Joel, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And Ashley Johnson,
Johnson.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson.
So but their impeccable acting and the development of those two characters, that's what kind of grew me into that game, and I loved it. And um so it's kind of a lame last point on the conversation, but I don't think I would have liked that game if their acting or their characters and the development of those characters were not as good as they were.
Well,
Otherwise,
and
I
I think
just would
there's
have.
something to be said, and I always go to this point. Like there's something to be said about voice actors versus like famous other medium actors.
Sure.
And the one I always point to is when Kiefer Sutherland took over as Big Boss slash Venom Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5. I think that game would have been a million times better if it was David Hayter who had played Big Boss up
Yep.
until then. But Hideo Kojima is a guy who loves Hollywood. He loves movie stars. He wanted a movie star, so he replaced the guy who had played him for like 20
Ever.
years up to that
Yeah.
point, and
Oh
put in
wow.
Kiefer Sutherland, and it
Oh,
was like,
Okay.
eh, yeah, like Kiefer's a guy. Like I've seen him. He was in The Lost Boys, great. Like whatever, but he wasn't Solid Snake, or he wasn't Big
hmm
Boss rather.
Right.
And it's like, uh, I don't know. Like there is something to be said. Troy Baker is a great example. Like he's not a film actor, but he's a phenomenal voice actor,
Yeah.
and he's
very
he's
true.
done a great job in everything he's been in. I
Yep.
wouldn't recognize him on the street probably if he showed me, especially Ashley Johnson. I wouldn't recognize her, but she was fantastic as Ellie in both
Yep.
games, and I
Yep.
wouldn't replace her with anybody.
I,
So
And I'll make one last comment and on this, and before I let it die on my end. Uh, and my comment is kind of in relation to when we talk about voice acting. So if you think about something that might be really hard for people to get into, and when you watch it, and at times for a lot of people, it could be anime, right? I personally enjoy some anime. It's not only because of storyline, it's
Don't
because
tell
of
me the
of
voice
the
acting is what gets you like into anime.
but wait, it's
Because I can't. I will take
Wait,
off my
wait, wait, wait,
headphones.
wait. Hold on,
but
hold
wait,
on, hold on, hold on.
wait, wait,
Hold
wait,
on, hold
wait,
on, hold on.
wait. And so I was going to say the voice acting, but it's not the English voice acting, because
I was thinking that.
that's
That's what
not
most
how
people
it was
say.
meant to be portrayed.
That's what most
Okay.
people say.
I like to watch the subtitles with it, and
Okay.
actually get the true message from where it was made from by those voice actors, and because it feels
That's
more
fair.
authentic to me. That feels I get the actual message across. It feels, when you see a dubbed version, it feels to me very fake and inauthentic.
Dude, if I played
And
Yakuza and like
I
the
don't get the same feeling back. And that's just my thought. It really depends on what resonates with you again, and who does it.
Right.
dude,
Dom,
if I
what were you
played
gonna say?
like a dragon in like English dub, I might like stop playing entirely. I just hate listening to them.
It's a good thing that they don't make them with English dubs.
The
I know.
the newest one, like a dragon.
Well, the newest, yeah, like a dragon.
that one has an English dub, and I listened to it for a
Oh,
little bit. Like,
man.
no, I need the real ones. No, please.
That's fair. Yeah, I will only watch dub because I'm an American and I'm an
Josh.
asshole who won't read while I watch things.
Josh, you know Majima, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know Mark Hamill used to voice them.
Yeah, in the first one, in the
It's
PS2 one.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Go watch those cutscenes. He actually does a pretty good job.
He does. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah,
The whole English dub's cursed.
yeah. Well, the Kyrie is not good, but Majima's not bad.
Curious.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Sorry.
Yakuza, just fucking
Okay.
Good
whatever.
I'll go
But
watch
anyway,
your...
Yeah, on animes I only watch the dubs because I'm too lazy
Not
to
gonna
read
read.
subtitles. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
but I understand it. I get it.
Hmm.
All right, boys. Or whatever.
Wow.
Do you guys want to end tonight
You can call us
on...
daddy.
I'm not calling you daddy. I'll call everyone here daddy but you.
You say the same thing that my fiance says. It's bullshit.
Your fiance says she'll call everybody else daddy.
Not everyone.
That's not a good sign.
She says she'll call nobody else daddy, including me.
All right, well, that's better.
I don't know. That's not what you said, though. Anyways,
Look,
do you guys...
it just reminded me of her. I'm just glad your looks don't.
One of these days for the show, you got to pull out the pillow.
No, I
Yeah,
refuse.
you got to
It's a
pull out the pillow.
traumatizing thing.
It's a
It's-
beautiful thing.
It's in a dark place, never to see the light of day again.
We'll talk about the pillow next time. Do you guys want to end tonight on a game bite or a discussion bite?
Game.
Game bite? All right, this one's not for points, though. So it's like whose
All right.
line? The points don't
Yeah,
matter.
points don't matter. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
until
this
they do.
one is kind of more of it's more of an opinion piece.
Can
This
I
one's
stop
called...
things for a quick second?
Yes.
Like I love the dynamic of the show because I always look at you first for a reaction, then I look at Reyes, and then I look at Boba Fett. He's always got the same look.
He's always there like. Oh, wait a minute.
See, Tom doesn't need a fancy camera. He could just sit there and
It should be the embodiment.
keep his helmet on.
It's just funny. My eyes just
That
go
needs to
through the
be there.
list.
that needs to be there every single time. A different version of Boba Fett.
I just...
Different poses.
Yeah.
Hey, it was suggested to me that you forever remain a mystery. That it was suggested to me.
I played that one.
Mhm.
But we're going to be playing a game to end tonight's show with a game called Butthole Bytes.
Oh. I don't like where this is going.
I might.
Basically, we're going to be probing the internet for two separate situations. Okay.
Butthole and probing. Those
Yep.
two words should not go together.
We're probing the internet for two separate stories, and we're going to determine, number one, are they both buttholes or assholes? And of the two, which one is the bigger asshole? So basically, it's an Am I the Asshole comparison game.
Okay.
Okay. So, for butthole number one, this is the story. I, female, was coming back from college using the public transportation. Oh my God, let me start over because I cannot talk. I, a female, was coming back home from college using the public transportation as I often do. I live in Argentina. In my stop, there were plenty of seats available. I picked one in the back of the bus near the door. A few stops after, a pregnant woman got in. She ignored the first seats, which are the priority seats, and came up to me and asked if I could give her the seat. At the time, the bus was crowded enough to not have any other seats available. I told her no because I was tired and I wanted to sit down. She mumbled that I was a jerk and said she's 8 months pregnant. I told her I don't care and that the priority seats are in the front of the bus. Somebody else gave her a seat in the background but still made me feel kind of like an asshole. I think I'm entitled to the seat if I got in before her. But I also don't know if the people in the priority seats were really people who needed them in the first place. So, was this person the butthole?
And you know what? I think it's kind of shitty that you were like, no, piss off. I don't really care. I think that's a little like a shitty attitude to have, which seems like an asshole.
Okay.
And
so
I don't know what priority seats are. Like, what are those meant for? Are those meant for like handicapped
they might,
people?
yeah, I'm sure they're like, that means like handicap seats.
Yeah.
Well, she's not necessarily handicapped.
No, but I mean, it's for people who need it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, with the pregnant woman coming all the way to the back asking, and she passed the priority seats, I don't know if there was a specific reason why she didn't sit there. I mean, because one, we're seeing the story, we don't know how small those seats are. I've been on buses where those priority seats are really tight together. It's not
Like a
comfortable.
Toiger.
Where in the back there's a little bit more open seating. So maybe that's the case. And if that's the case, you could, what this person could have done is she could have given her the seat, gone up and taken, if there was a lot of priority seats open, taken one. And if somebody came in who was priority and needed it, and then the seats all filled up, then you get up.
Let's just assume that there were no priority seats available, and that this pregnant lady walked to the back of the bus, and you be the one that you're sitting there, and she just happened to pick.
Yeah, I would have gotten up, so I just.
But does
I
that
feel
make the person who didn't get up an asshole?
Well, I think the way she handled it kind of was.
Yeah, the way she handled it seemed like she was kind of being a dick about it.
I'm watching Josh's facial reactions, and I really
want
to know what he's thinking.
I mean, I can challenge that too. I mean, I've been up over 72 hours straight, just going and going and going. And if I was on the bus mentally and physically exhausted, and I'm in a seat, and she comes up to me, and is just walking up and being like, "I'm 8 months pregnant, and I'm carrying
in this situation
a 6 pound baby in my stomach. Can you get up?" I can be like, "I've been up over 72 hours." And
but that's not the case on this
300-pound man in my
This person simply went to school, Reyes. This person simply went to school and was leaving after a long, hard day.
Get up.
Okay,
get your candy ass up.
Get up.
Okay, Rock. So, Josh, I've been watching your face, and I'm really curious what your thoughts are.
You guys are gonna hate me. How many months pregnant did she say she was?
8.
Yeah. Fuck her. So I was there first. Somebody else gave her a spot to sit. Shut up. Whatever. I'm here first.
So it's actually funny. I'm like in this weird split kind of. I would say minority, but there's somebody else who kind of thinks this way. If I'm sitting there, I mean, if it was me, I would probably get up just because
I'm with you. I would in that case I would probably get up. But
Right.
like why like
But if it was
meant to
somebody,
be
but if it was
like-
somebody else, let's say
I know.
they looked really fucking tired, like you could tell they had a shit day. Like, who's to say I'm not having a shit day too?
Yeah,
right.
you know, it's not my problem. You know,
But
you have a legitimate medical concern. I can do that. You know, so
inherently,
whereas if you're just tired, I'd be like, fuck off.
so inherently, does this make this person, this non-pregnant student who just got out of school, does this make her an asshole for not getting up for the pregnant person?
Inherently no.
Inherently,
Kind of
Just-
does.
okay. So that's one yes, one no. Dom.
Oh yeah, I don't like the mentality she has. It's a no.
Okay. Since there's
Like at school.
an
Come on
even
now.
number of us, I'm going to not vote, which makes me happy. So, as a collective group, we're going to, because I'm like a 50-50 split. I think
No,
she's
that's
kind of an asshole.
What do you Yeah, well, if you think she's an asshole, that's a yes.
I think she's kind of an asshole. I don't think inherently she's an asshole because she got up.
All
So,
right
but
then. So what's your vote? It's either yes or no. We got so far we have 2 yeses and 1 no. What's your vote?
I'm going to say
I'm a
inherently
post man.
she's not an asshole.
All right, so that's
But-
where
Wait a
I'm-
minute.
that's
No,
where
wait a
I'm
minute.
at.
Did you say she got up?
She did not get up. Someone else
She
got
did
up.
not
so
get
that
up.
the
Somebody else
Somebody
got
else
up.
got
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
You know, who probably thought she was being an asshole, and they got up instead.
Yeah, which
Yes.
works for them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, somebody else
So-
will do it.
It's
You
it's
know,
why
an
should I get
interesting
up?
thing because,
I mean,
like I
I'm
said,
thinking, like,
Go ahead.
I'm thinking like a pregnant lady on a bus, right? Any like sudden stops and she falls, Lord have mercy. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. If she falls, Lord have mercy.
Get a car.
all right. So that's
I'm
interesting.
just
So we
kidding. I'm just kidding.
so we split. That
I'm
was
just
actually-
kidding.
Or run her
That's
over
great.
with a car. Solves
Alright.
solves all the problem.
All right, to move
No,
the game. To move the game along.
again. To be fair, I think you should get up, but I don't think inherently you're an asshole if you don't get up.
It's an objective view.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I was thinking about it too. is it's-
Subjective.
You mean
Or
subjective.
I'm sorry, subjectively. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Um,
I was
all
about
right.
to say like
So okay, next one. I, 32 male, have been dating this girl for 6 months now.
I thought you were married.
Ha,
you're not
I'm
32,
30.
you're
I'm
33.
33. Anyways,
I thought
ha.
you were
So the
lying.
story's broken.
You
Okay,
were just
so
lying about your
I'm
age.
just trying to make myself younger. Yeah. All right. So
Right.
I've been dating this chick for 6 months now. She's
Gotta
always
tell
been
Stephanie.
she's she's always been very vague about what she does for a living.
drug dealer.
She does things like writing and working from home and writing and stuff. But recently, one of her friends mentioned something, and I finally dragged it out of her. She's an author. She writes and self-publishes romance and erotica stories and novels, and while she's not rich, she's able to make a living out of it. Okay? I Googled her name, and I couldn't find anything, so I confronted her about it. She said that she's writing under a pen name. So I... Shut up, Google. She refuses... Okay. She said she's writing under a pen name, so I demanded she gives it to me so I know what she does. She refuses, saying she doesn't want it to be leaked even by accident, and nobody knows. So that's why she's not telling him. I accused her of not trusting me, and she still refused, which was really annoying to me. I tried nicer approaches and told her that I want to know her fantasies so I can try it out with her, and she told me that what she writes aren't her fantasies but her readers, and she's still not going to tell me. So this person goes on to say that he checks her laptop, but she changed her password, and he was getting annoyed, and now she thinks that she doesn't trust him. So then she ended up leaving him, and she called him an asshole. And she said, yeah. So basically, is the guy an asshole for trying to find out what his girlfriend's pen name is?
The
Who's
first
making
flag-
a lot of
first red
money?
flag that I
Well, some
see
money, but go ahead.
is he's saying that I have the right to know what she writes. Like I
Okay.
don't think you specifically have the right to that. That's not something that you're like. If she wants to be like pen name about it and make sure no
Right.
one knows, that's her business, right?
Yep.
Like I gotta respect that boundary she's setting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's me saying I have the right to know. It's kind of like a dickhead thing to say.
It to me, I look at it this way. This is her career, and she's pretty successful at it. She's able to
And
make
she
a
makes a
living off
living.
of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And this is her career. She wants to separate her career from her personal life. At the same because at the same time, people can get kind of nuts out there, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, and I respect that. On his side, he just, wanting to know her pen name. I want to know, to look her up and to see all the reviews. He doesn't need to do that. He just wants to.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to, he was like, "Hey, can you show me some blurbs, of a story you've written?" She could easily provide that to him without her pen name, and so he would have some context after maybe some of the
Mm-hmm.
things she's written. But he wants to know her pen name and everything, and look up all of her stuff. He wants to dig, it sounds like. And that to me, it's like, okay, you want to dig, you're dating this woman, you're not married, you're not, there's not anything more, right now. If you're dating, that's not your place at that time. Once your relationship progresses more and more, and he was only dating her for 6 months, so it wasn't a long amount of time. This is her career, this is how she makes her livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And so she doesn't need to know that right now. As they progress on, maybe when he asks her in the future, she can trust him a little bit more on this. But
Mm-hmm.
this is her career and livelihood.
Let
If she
me.
doesn't trust you right now with this, okay.
Can I pause you just for 10 seconds? Something I wanted to mention in his writing was I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me and it's not fair because I have a right to know what she writes, especially because it's a sensitive topic and I don't know her if I don't know her pen name. That's actually a very
That's
important line that
Yeah.
I don't agree with
contributes
that.
to the story.
Ooh. I have
I
an
don't
actual
I don't agree
real
with that at
example
all.
of this. I don't mean that she wouldn't mind. My girlfriend writes, not like the stuff that she was writing, of course,
Your
but my
girlfriend
girlfriend
writes
writes.
erotica? Ooh.
No, she doesn't.
What's her pen
She
name?
doesn't.
Yeah, we
No.
got to
Yeah.
know.
No, no,
You
no,
better
I
no.
have a
find out
right
if
to
you don't.
know. I have a right to know her pen name.
Yeah.
But she tells me that she doesn't want to show me her writing, and I have to respect that because like that's not my territory. I shouldn't be like, show it, let me see it. Like I shouldn't be trying to hound her for that type of stuff. And I
Well, is she
you can
writing
get
erotica or what's she writing? You said
no,
you don't
she's not.
know.
She writes a whole bunch of stuff. I know what she does write, but like it's
Okay, but what
a
if you
lot,
didn't know?
a
Let me
lot.
ask you this. What if you didn't know?
What if I didn't know? Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's still not my business. I wouldn't really care.
Yeah, but like she's making money.
Oh, she's making
She's
money.
not.
Good for her then. Shit.
I like you, Dom. Right. Yeah, it's a good point. Good viewpoint, I should say. Josh?
There's a lot to unpack because I mean,
Yeah.
like from the perspective of the guy, like to a certain extent, I understand it. Like from Dom's perspective, like I get it. It's like no, it's her life, and even to Andre's point, like yeah, like it's her life. Let her do whatever. But like I understand, like to the guy's point, like after 6 months, like it could seem like not that long of a time, but that's half a year, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can't trust me to just read what you do for a living, and it's like her argument was, well, I don't want it to leak that,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm the
this
writer.
person.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can't trust me to not leak that at this point in our relationship 6 months in, like that to me would point out a different level of mistrust.
Right.
So
But
then
he's
that would
also digging through her computer and other
that's where
stuff
I was
like
gonna
that.
say that's where the
I'm
line
like,
that is
I'm like,
100%
wait a
where the
minute.
line goes.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wait a
yeah.
minute. There's one difference in constantly, but you're digging through her personal items. Then
Yeah,
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah.
that
If she
again, 6
says
months.
no and you disagree with the no, that's one thing. If she says no and then you dig,
Mhm.
that's a completely different
Ooh.
issue.
Mhm.
And now
Well-
you're betraying her trust
Sure.
entirely.
Well-
So it's not necessarily that there isn't a trust. Now you're betraying it, and
Sure.
yeah.
So let me ask this: if you were to dig, would it be okay to dig not by digging through her personal things? Like if you tried to find this information on your own through public sources, is that
unhealthy, but it's fair.
Yeah, I would say it's unhealthy. That's kind of weird, but
Mhm.
you can
Right.
do what you want.
Because to me, another, like Josh said, you more that needs to be unpacked. I'm like, why is it so imperative that this is constantly in the back of his mind, that I have to know. This I have I need to know. And you can't just let this gradually evolve and the trust develop to this point, because you don't know in those 6 months what they've gone through. He just said
Yeah.
6 months,
right?
right?
Like to
So-
me in that situation, if I was in that situation, to me, I wouldn't care about what she was actually writing or whatever that was. To me, the weird thing would be you don't trust me to know what you're writing. And it
Right.
wouldn't necessarily be like, well, I need to know now. It would be like, well, why don't you trust me? Like, is this like, what have we been doing for 6 months then if I can't even see what you do for a living? It would be like me being like, Aziza, we've been dating for 7 years, but you can't watch suggestive gaming.
Mhm.
Like, it's like you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it would be weird.
But
So
but it's very, very different though. It's like 7 years, right? Or
I understood, but
6 months, and
even
maybe he's
so,
done some very untrustworthy things before where she has an issue with him,
well,
just
yeah,
like the
that's a
computer
different
thing,
story.
Yeah.
That's a
right?
different story.
So
Yeah.
we don't know all the background facets. We just know this,
Yeah,
and
if we're
Right.
talking just
so
white glove, like nothing has happened in the past, and she's just like,
Mhm.
no, I don't want you to read it because I don't trust you to know that that pen name is my real person, and you might leak it. Like
then that's
six
kind of
months to me is a long stretch of time
Mhm.
to have that kind of fear. Because like,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
he could leak that, but like, why are you dating somebody for 6 months if you're afraid that they're going to
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
to dox you essentially?
And if
So-
6 months, if there was no issues and everything was hunky dory, and you are flying high in this relationship, and you trust each other, and you just want to know this tidbit of information, you should be able to tell your significant other, I don't want this getting put out. I don't want this getting put out on the internet. I don't want you writing about it. But this is what it is. That should be fine.
Sure.
But that's why it makes me think that, okay, there are probably some more underlying issues behind
Well,
this,
and again,
and it
moving
could be on
on.
his or hers.
Well, and also it could be both because again, he
Mhm.
then goes onto her computer to try to dig in and find it. So I
Yep.
think the moral of the story is these are both people with trust issues.
Yes.
that
Yes.
should probably not be together. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. I was like, trust on both ends.
yeah.
So I think we're all pretty much in agreement. Asshole.
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 Yeah.
Asshole.
Okay. But now, who's the bigger asshole? Now, we were split on the first one.
Oh,
Who's the bigger asshole?
most
Person
definitely
who
the
doesn't
dude.
get up for the pregnant person? Or person who digs through his girlfriend's
Oh.
things?
Digs through
Digging into your
girlfriend's things.
girlfriend's things.
Digs through,
Definitely
that's
biggest
crazy.
asshole.
It's way more
Eh,
personal. That's
I
why
mean,
it's
That's a
asshole.
personal level. That's a
Yeah.
personal level.
That's trust.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. So you just 6 months. It's like somebody you just met. Like, okay, and somebody.
Oh, you didn't even meet him.
and-
It's a stranger. Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna dig through their stuff.
Ooh.
That's a dick thing.
Stranger versus somebody you've been dating for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
always
you're an
adds to
asshole.
it. That's true.
Bigger asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. All right. Well, cool. I think that's the last bite of the evening. For the second time already since the new format, we've got our longest episode of the
shit.
year of the show. But there were actually a hella great conversations in this episode. I was really happy about that. Just to kind of repeat, we talked about bacon and my dad and daddy and kissing fleshlights that you kiss. You don't kiss the fleshlight, but other
I hope
things.
not. I hope
and-
you don't do that. You have to
I
talk to
don't.
Stephanie about that now.
I don't
Speak
even
for
own one.
yourselves.
I don't even own one.
Speak for yourself.
And Ford, with the patent and your Teslas and everything, cars are just gonna start
Mm.
driving themselves away.
Cars
and you're
slowly
gonna-
running away from you.
We played some bites. We talked about Sony Activision, ultra enthusiast hardware and how it affects gaming, and good characters. A lot of great conversations. In fact, there's only one topic from the bite in the bucket that we didn't get to today, and it's one that Josh posted like a month ago. And it's about Apple phones. So we're going to talk about that the next time Josh is here with us. And they're flipping phones, foldable phones is what it is. So, again, I wanted to bring up, Immortal, you are not first, by the way. Thanks for coming in 3 hours late. Why is the Rock on stream? I did want to bring it up. If you guys want to come here and interact with us while we're live, we do live stream on Twitch during our shows. Typically every Fridays at 9 Central. We do have some guests coming up here in the month of March on March 10th, which is actually a Monday.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
March 10th is not a Monday.
Or is it? Or March 13th. I'm sorry.
Mario.
Our next Mario. Recording is on March 10th. It's next Friday on March 10th.
And our guest will be Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
On March 13th.
Yes, March 10th. Are we doing one on March 10th?
Yes, we are going to do one on March 10th, and we'll also be having one on March 13th. And on the March 13th episode, we got a Chicagoland. He's like a sous chef, head chef. I'm not quite sure, so I will be asking him. And something about a vinegar company. Which I never thought about starting. I make coffee, but I never thought about starting a vinegar company. I don't even know what would go into that. But
yeah, I'd love to talk to him. How do you make vinegar?
Well, I thought. I have no idea. So I'm kind of curious about that. And then later in the month, on the 24th, right now we have scheduled. He's a Hollywood kind of. His title is an APOC. It's like an associate producer of something. I can't remember exactly what it is, but he works in Hollywood, works on a bunch of I think it's Fox, a bunch of shows and movies out that way. So that we're looking forward to that one as well. And then other things going on with Bucket Bites. Just to recap, is we've got Game of the Month going on. You could do ! GOTM in chat. We learned that. We learned that our new favorite color collectively is banana. Thank you, Old Man Assassin, for that.
Yes, it is.
And we're doing a giveaway, so make sure if you do that ! GOTM, you have a chance to win a game, and we'll be reviewing that later in the month. We will be doing a stream of that game of Signalis as well. Maybe a couple of us, maybe over the course of the next month, we'll see. That was kind of a really long, info-filled outro. Do any of you guys have any closing statements that you really need to get off your chest right now?
I love bananas too.
Yeah, you do. I saw one of the best insults. Oh, Josh, go ahead.
Subscribe to Suggestive Gaming on YouTube.
Wow.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
My closing statement is I saw one of the best insults I've ever seen, and it was a wrestling sign that said Goldberg eats corn the long way.
Oh shit. Oh jeez.
What did Goldberg do?
Everybody be careful for that spear.
I don't know, but I saw that. Rez, Dom, closing statements?
I ain't got nothing.
Nothing?
Keep watching Bucket Bites, everyone. More good stuff to come.
Please watch Bucket Bites and share with other people. Thank you.
And Dom likes bananas. They're his favorite.
No, it's his favorite color.
That's my favorite color.
You also admitted to liking bananas, Rez. I like how I said you admitted to liking bananas like that's a bad thing. Like, I eat bananas every day.
I know. I like potassium, okay?
Yeah, fuck potassium.
Anyways, again, I'm Papa Post. This is Bucket Bites. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.
Bucket Bites is recorded in front of a live Twitch audience over at twitch.tv/bucketbites. You can also find us on our Linktree, linktr.ee/bucketbites, where you can find all of our social medias and also some merchandise and the newly founded www.bucketbites.gg, where you can listen to all of our podcast episodes in your web browser. stay tuned for a quick sneak peek at what's going to be given to our Patreon supporters for a little bit of extra content this week. We like to record before and after the episodes, so you can just kind of see what goes on before the shows. Thank you for listening. I'm Papa. Goodbye.
Hey, Post.
What?
You don't got a problem with me eating a delicious calzone during the broadcast, right? And talking like, oh, it's so fucking good. My nipples are hard. You know, there's no issue with me doing that, right?
Only if you use those exact words.
In that in that exact same tone.
Exactly.
Deal.
Yes.
I didn't hire this person. How'd this random woman dressed in skimpy clothing get in my bed?